stage of the game and would allow them to catapult themselves ahead through those one or two pickoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a pacing thing. If they're going to get some disable, I honestly love the IO and the pairing with the Lion. I would get it from some other role because I actually think the supports were good in this one, and they were the fact that they were in this game was what let them play early tempo against Liquid. Yeah. And I agree. It's literally honestly, that was just immaculate team fighting from both sides. Like depending on which fight you look at in the game, one team figured out something that they could do to win the fight and beat the strategy that was used in the previous one. It was just mind games.
And I feel like if you replay those team fights, you're gonna get like very different results every different time, you know.
Like there was one where we saw Save jump in and just straight up suicide. Like he died. He just jumps in, hexes, and then immediately stuns. He didn't do the thing where he hexes, waits a little.
Yeah, you wait till the bars.
Wait till the bars at the bottom and then stun. He's like, no, I know I'm gonna die. He goes in, he stuns because he catches the Beastmaster, right? And this was also after Liquid was poking on the Timbersaw, and we're like, what the hell are they doing? Like, you're not going to kill a Timbersaw. They were poking. They wanted to reveal the backlines. But also, BB Team at this time, Save was looking for the Beastmaster because he realized if we kill Beast, we're going to win the fight. So there's just mind games going both ways. And
yeah, and imagine coordinating all those stuff, like when the moment is so stressed, like so stressful for everybody. It's so impressive.
I would love to hear the comms from both sides. I think it would be very interesting to hear.
I would have loved to see a little bit more of playing around the Monkey King. Because I feel like every fight they lost is because Monkey just died, and I don't think Toronto Tokyo's even prioritized the Monkey even once as an IO in this particular game. If maybe they could have kept the MK up a little more, potentially this game could have been different. As you guys mentioned, there's so many different things they could have done, which would have changed a lot of different things. And that's why I really think like their draft is fine. And I think the big thing they do have to worry about when playing against Liquid is not getting ran over. And they didn't get ran over this game. And a lot of that had to do with this because they picked faster heroes, especially on Nightfall. He wasn't playing a very greedy hero. The tempo was there. They got the first part of the equation down. They just need to work on the second half.
They almost have it. They're almost able to get the answer to be able to beat Liquid there. See if they're able to figure out what that second half of the equation is going to be for them exactly. The Lion facet is a bigger question, maybe for some of our viewers. What are the two options, and why are we always seeing them go, what is it called, fist death? Death fist?
Fist punch people.
Death.
Death-defying punch.
So this facet originally was considered the meme facet, where you finger and then your hero turns to be melee. You gain
with cleave.
You gain some cleave. And then you gain bonus right-click damage based on how many finger stacks you have. And this was considered a meme until people realized, hey, when you punch somebody with this and they die, it's applying the debuff that gives you extra finger damage when they die. So you can, hypothetically, in a fight, kill 5 heroes with, you just punch them once, you don't even have to kill them, and then you get 5 finger stacks, which scales also. Finger stack, you're getting more damage on the finger itself for the next fight. So people are going for this one. The other one adds damage to the mana drain, so it pretty much makes him into Old Lion, except I think instead of 50% damage, it's 100%. So it's better, a little better than Old Lion in a way, but everybody's just opting to go for the...
as well.
It's way less cool. It's way less badass.
Less flashy.
You said you like the Shadow Blade build on the hero?
Oh, I do. I think that's cool.
Do you want to share a little bit more?
You're just playing to be a right clicker in a way, but you're just running around solo killing people, which is really cool for pubs. And Fury, saying GQ does this build?
Oh yeah, I mean, I just saw Jin Q do it.
Is it Blink then Shadowblade or Shadowblade first?
You don't go Blink at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's Giga Chat.
No Blink.
I think he went drums into Shadowblade.
This man knows what he wants.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? You can get the drums early, you Shadowblade, you know, hex him, finger, pop the drums, kill him.
It's so strange, right? All the position 4 heroes that they are playing right now and the items that they are buying is just so different. If you have told someone, oh, this is how you play position 4, like a couple of years ago, people would think that you're crazy, you know.
100%. I mean, even now, hearing the idea of Lion having that build, crazy. But when you do write it all, it does make sense. It stacks. It has that synergy for them there. We do have a very slight delay, but game. 100%. I mean, even now, hearing the idea of Lion having that, we see a lot of change coming out here with the Doom. Stacks, it has that synergy for them there. We do have a very slight delay, but game. I mean, even now, Any of those three.
I don't think so. Though. I feel like we might see like a repeat in something very, very similar. If the adjustment is going to happen, it's probably just going to be one.
Only one of those heroes left through.
It's hard to say though.
I'm kind of feeling these days, who cares Nature's Prophet? It doesn't look that good.
Yeah.
I really don't feel like it looks as good as it did on the previous patch. The ult isn't.
It was
enough.
busted last week.
It was busted last week, but with the damage reduction on the base amount, it means that the total amount when it hits every single creep on the map, which is what people are playing for, is not what it once was. You don't last hit every single creep wave that's appearing on the map, and then I think people are doing better at countering it too.
I haven't seen enough of it on carry, but that's like the one position where I think it still has a lot of merit. I think the support, not so much.
I mean,
there's
it's
a lot of
mostly
counters.
just carry mid at the moment.
I don't really like the mid very much because I feel like mid has a very particular set of abilities that you want to have, like these pucks and stuff like that can rotate on the map that NP doesn't do. He's just a carry from the mid lane. Why not just put him on the carry position and just be this hyper fast like team that can just be around the map, take all the team fights? I just feel like on carry it doesn't get enough love, and if it's not going to be a carry hero, I don't feel like you should prioritize it as heavily.
Look, the stats do back you guys up as well. It's been picked 8 times, has a 37% win rate. So people have somewhat figured it out. Most of the wins have been on that carry position though, and most of the losses have been.
I mean, it's also because of the lane. I feel like you can't really abuse people from the mid lane because the lane is short, right? So your Treant can't really bully the other hero as much. But if you're on the safe lane, you get to bully the other two
I
heroes
should
a lot more.
stand right there.
But our game 2 in our best of 3 draft just popped up here. I did ask the question, is anything really going to change up? And so far, the answer is no. Both these teams are very confident in not allowing these heroes to get through.
Wait, they swap sides, right? That's the only thing that changed.
That is the only thing that has changed. Yes. They have swapped sides.
Wait.
But it's still going to be BB team with the first pick. They opened up with Timber
30
last time.
seconds to battle.
Oh wait, it was sorry.
It was Treant, then
It was Treant. I like
Change
the
the size in case.
I like the Timber from BB Team. I feel like Miro played it extremely well, made a lot of space. They're going to go for the Nature Prophet that we just talked about for about 5 minutes about how bad we think it is.
I mean, what does it tell you? They opted to ban Wing Ranger and take energy.
What does that tell you?
They're gonna stay away from Wing Ranger.
Okay, I think that's a nightfall problem.
Yeah, it's like I'm done. You know, I don't think I can play this hero well.
But NP is Nightfall an NP player here.
It doesn't really strike me.
It really does not strike
So
me.
like the thing is like he has to adapt to this tournament, right? This tournament's all about the Gleipnir ranged heroes
Precisely.
and picking your carry early, right? And that is just something that typically Nightfall doesn't like to do. He likes to be one of those last pick Battle Fury type of heroes that farms it up. So unfortunately for him, not the best patch for him, but it is what it is. He's gonna have to adapt here. What I found a little interesting, I was kind of looking at the stats for this tournament. Radiant win rate right now is 56%. Which means Dire's 43%. So then that's a huge difference here. And just like looking at first pick win rate, also 56% win rate. The second finish.
Yeah, what I'm really seeing though is a 100% win rate on Liquid Treant Protector. That's all that really matters here.
It was once that they picked it. Is
3 times.
3 times? Oh, that's actually not bad then. That's pretty good.
I like how you were ready to meme on it.
I thought you were me. You're just smiling deviously.
They picked it twice in
Okay,
three.
you're smiling because you like Treant Protector, right?
Yes.
I mean, I can't believe it took so long for him to like he's so strong. He
Thank
got
you.
nerfed a couple of times the last few months.
Yeah. And this man is still being picked up. The tree sapling facet is the one that you want to
Yeah.
go with. Plant a tree on your leech
That's not what I
seed.
go.
Well then, what's your win rate on
Place
Treant
carry,
Protector?
carry tree.
I have 0 and 1 on carry tree.
Okay, well, so what you want to do is you want to go the sapling tree. It turns your leech seed into a tree that you plant on because it's no longer a target, like you can ground target it. And if it gets chopped down immediately, it just respawns itself. So anyone with a quelling blade can't actually cut it down. So it's really good in lane.
I call it anyway because it feels like I'm doing something.
Yeah, and then
You
just
gotta
pops
quell it.
immediately back up, and then you quell it again, and it bombs back up again.
It's
I'm like, cool, bro.
satisfying.
It's nice because it makes you index when you put the tree down there, and it also makes
If you get the shot,
if you get the
you have
shot.
to tell people who might not be Treant Ben.
Right. I mean,
shot,
at the very least, it activates your innings.
The shot on Treant is like EKB on Nightfall. He gets it every game.
Yeah. for a guy that didn't know what the Nightfall was.
He's leaning into the meme a lot.
Do it well. I applaud that, good sir. But the best thing about it, in my opinion, is like
Spot.
this is one of the few not nerfed into the ground healing heroes. Like the amount of ability this hero has to just group up and push by dropping the sapling, and your team gets healed to full. You do the Holy Lock, it Greaves, Solar, these team items. Even the Tree Living Armor, putting that on your carry and just buffing them so they win carry
The
matchup.
nerf was the move speed, right? From
That's it,
the start.
yeah.
And they nerfed it twice.
So I still think it's excellent. The invis is really all you need to set up on people around the map. The ultimate BKB cursing as well is always something that is very valuable. Even though BKB is not as prevalent as it was before, where it's like 5 BKBs in a game, still there's some really important like Giga Carry that's being buffed up by all these auras, where if they get a BKB, the way you play the fight is wait until that guy BKBs, press ult, you've won the fight.
And that's his early FP game, right? We're talking about his late game. He's one of the best late game position fights with the Axe. You have so much map control. Like if you get to that stage as strength, I feel like it's so difficult to lose.
Yeah, I mean, the axe is also good. Not only are you giving vision with it, but it pairs with your overgrowth now that if a hero is within range of the tree that you gave the blessing to, they get overgrowth as well. So you don't even
Me
necessarily...
hero, it's for speed, man. You're farming.
Oh, okay, alright, okay.
Forgot about the jungle.
We play this very differently, Winter. We play this
I
very
put a
differently.
tree in every jungle camp.
Of course you do. Of
Is
course
that
you do.
a
Of
tree
course.
protector panel or what?
Yeah.
Yes. I
Okay,
mean,
we can talk about
the theme of this TI is green,
It's fine.
green
That is
protector,
true.
He
having a
doesn't like.
resurgence.
He doesn't like. He's the carry player.
I've got
the
3
trees are.
support players here just like talking
Yes,
about 3 for
He's
30
used, to
Of
the,
minutes.
course.
he's used to the tree sitting in lane, not like just sitting there and watching. I get that; those are bad trees, not the good trees. But I will say, one hero that is quite good against tree is the Bat Rider. Finding him in the trees very easy. The Napalm no longer gives vision, but still, just your ability to like blink and catch him is quite annoying. I like the pivot in a sense from BB. I guess it's not
Oh, that's a good spot.
that much of a pivot, but they're instead of winning team fights, they're looking to play for pickoffs with
Ordered
the
advance.
natures
Yeah,
plus the Bat Rider.
I kind of like them more when they are playing a 4 ganking hero, like a Blink Dagger hero, rather than like just stacking auras on top.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like they excel more with this type of draft.
I agree. I like this. It's the same fast pace, but in a different way.
I want to cover a little bit. We covered the support topic. I'm going to carries now.
Please do, yeah.
So like this Mirana pick looks really scary for League because I know Boxy's been playing this for a very long time. He's really good at the hero. But I look at like these like Lina, Mirana type of heroes, Wind Ranger that are super popular right now, and it really makes me think of Mickey. Like these are like his best heroes that he really likes to play.
He plays it when they're bad.
He plays them when they're bad. Like if I look at like these Ames, these Nightfalls, I can't picture their face on like a Mirana, right? But I can see Mickey playing these heroes. So having an early pick and the ability to flex these heroes, like this is probably the best carry patch that Mickey I've ever seen him have the opportunity to play.
I think he will end up, depending how far Liquid go in the tournament, you know, like we don't know what's going to happen. He is going to have one of the biggest
This is his
hero
patch.
pools. Yeah,
this
I
is
think
his
he will
patch.
have the biggest carry hero pool throughout the
I mean, or the smallest. I don't know. It's one of the It's either he's just gonna first pick like Wind Ranger or Mirana every game, right? But
Bottom line is he's a very strong carry right now.
Yeah,
based
he
on
is.
Don't put words in my mouth.
the heroes that are.
you can put the words in my mouth.
My spirit moved.
Okay.
Back.
All right, baby birds. Speaking of birds, I don't know how to segue this. Dark Willow picked up. Boxy, right? She flies. Boxy is one of the few players that is still willing to play the Willow. I remember the patch where they made it so you can't put the Bedlam on an ally. Pretty much everybody considered this hero to be dead. And then within a week, it was like 55% win rate and still winning every club.
Every other OPP got nerfed too.
Yeah, so everything else got nerfed.
Wow, right?
Ordered advance.
I mean, the thing about the Dark Hero, what she's gonna be doing well here is number one, she builds heal, so it's very good against Kanka. And the Bedlam and all the control she has with the Terrorize the field is very good when dealing with a Bat Rider initiation. When I'm playing Bat, Hero is one of those heroes that I really dislike playing into.
I also think it's the complete opposite of what he was playing game number 1 when he had the Medusa, is that the Dark Willow wants to rotate to mid. He's going to be able to be more of that active position 4 and help his cause a
Yeah,
little bit
it's
more.
definitely more useful, less greedy than the Medusa.
And he was bored game 1. I have to play Medusa. Like 33 told me to pick it. And then all of a sudden it's a good Beastmaster game. He's making me play it. But he gets to
Thing
play
is, he
something
had
fun.
an almost 94% kill participation in Boxy.
Still, it's like, you're like, oh guys, I hit the Gorgon's Grasp. Like, go. It's not exciting. It's not an exciting thing to be the Medusa. I can tell you that much. It was 33 that ruined that for him. That's why he got picked earlier in the draft. He's gonna have a good time on the Willow this time.
Oh, that's a good
Oh, they banned
Liquid-
out Nightfall Classics
Yeah,
here.
they really think they're not going to play this NP as
Under
carry.
attack.
That is interesting. I mean, it's not particularly. I mean, it's not good. It's not bad against the Beastmaster. But I think a lot of these teams are prioritizing the mid for their last picks here. I think it's really important to get these bans fit correctly, especially if you are not last pick. Monkey King getting banned, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, the thing is, the BB team, Kunkka could go mid, it could go off lane. Same with NP, it could be carry, it could be off lane. Let's see what they go for. And they're just going to go back to the Nightfall, like what his signature classics are. He likes building Radiance, he likes building Battle Fury, he likes being that one of those slower type carries here. And this is what I was a little worried about going in
I thought they were going to do
Liquid
this.
as well, so I was hoping they wouldn't do this, right?
That's true.
But like it still works. This is what he's good at. But even as Blitz said in the interview, like
5 seconds remaining.
he's in 20 minutes if things go well for him, he can take down the buildings really quick. And this Alchemist hero, if he has a bad landing stage, he's not coming online for a while.
It looks like BB team also anticipated that Liquid would try to run a mid lane counter to the Alk, like a mid lane game counter, like Nisha Timber would have been really good. But I kind of feel like Liquid is the type of team to see this Alk and then say, this is fine, like we'll pick a hero that makes our draft better rather than like countering. Let's see, is the Puck still available?
Yeah, he can play Pocket.
I could see them just
zero
start
stuns.
Yeah, even though it's not like particularly good against Alchemist, it's just normal, it's fine.
What do you feel about like the Tango Primal hero? You can invade the jungle and attack the Alchemist with his farm.
That's also good. I like both of those. Just something to round together the Liquid draft, a hero that will initiate, because right now they don't really have it. They have like Treant running in front.
NP
with
has to
Aura.
go mid, right? There's no chance that Kunkka
Primal would be amazing actually against the Kunkka or the NP. It's like the hard counter to nature as you press stomp and run through the trees because of the DK.
Fire Dragon or what?
It's always fire.
Reprisal.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the players have realized that, you know, Frost Dragon doesn't really do anything.
This must be.
Right, you get it, but like you're not pressuring towers, you're not farming faster. Maybe in the ultra late game it'll have some uses, but like you can't think that far in the future. The Poison Dragon, maybe it'll help you take a tower, it's still viable, but I think it's been nerfed so much it's not that great. Whereas if you do go to the Fire Dragon, yeah, you're gonna have the same laning stage as before, but you're gonna always have a way to get farm and hit your islands. I feel like that's just more valuable.
Is the beast mode passive the one that gives you more attack speed based on how many creeps you have?
No, that's Wild Hunt.
That's Wild Hunt.
Beast mode is the one you activate and apply.
That's the activate. Okay, so that is the one that we chose.
That means he's going to.
He's gonna go at. So I was thinking maybe you could up the pace against Al by going for the Helmet Bomb, but it went so well last game with the Aghanim Scepter, the double roar.
You're playing versus Chen, I don't.
I mean, they're just literally
That's true.
trying to outscale them, like survive to the point of time where the Elk is going to be a monster, and then get to the point where Elk is like slowly coming down. Everyone's
I reckon he's just gonna rush Ags. He's just gonna rush Ags. They're gonna go for an early burst again, and then just gonna push. I feel like they're gonna try and make as much as they
That
can.
is true. That is one argument against the Dom build. That you, I mean, I guess
You can't rush it early.
I guess you probably still can Roche with that. Both of them
Yeah, you
probably let you
still
can.
do Roche, but the Ags Roche is like 13, 14 minutes in a good game. You could solo it. That's hard to do.
Well, look, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're all going for Liquid here. You think it's going to be that 2-0? No one's thinking otherwise? Yeah, I didn't think so. Analysts, they're going for Liquid here, but let's hear from BB Team's coach. Maybe they can convince you guys at home on what exactly they would try to draft for themselves.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, indeed, I'm here with Bulk. And firstly, I just want to know, how confident are you with this draft game?
Насколько ты сейчас уверен в вашем драфте?
Уверен, конечно, в матче
The enemy's bottom tower.
They're pretty confident, otherwise they won't pick me.
That makes a lot of sense. What did you think about the Medusa in the last game? What did you think about that hero?
Я думаю, что очень хороший, мы даже сами с ним играли, мы не ожидали, что они его возьмут, но просто в целом был очень удачный драфт, и фронтлейнил, шаг вперед.
So he says it was like interesting to play against that hero, and that Medusa is a tanky hero, and that they did not expect to play against it, but they already played with it before, so it was interesting.
All right, and how do you feel like you answered the early Mirana, which Liquid showed?
Ordered advance.
Как отвечаешь? Знали, что он может взять Мирану, поэтому были готовы к этому.
They were ready for Mirana.
My stones alight.
Answered. Perfect. All right. Hi, Bulk, thank you very much. Good luck in your game. And back to the casters for this game, who are going to have Cap and SVG.
Your middle
A lot of
tower is
confidence.
under attack.
I don't believe it. They're currently 0-5 in their last bit of games. I feel like you're lacking in confidence at this point, surely, right?
You're starting to question some things. I think that's fair enough. This is also, you know, potentially your last game before you're thrust into that lower bracket, and then you're in a whole different world of stress and a different situation. You're going to be 0-6 at that point. You're kind of just, what are we even doing in terms of strategies or heroes? This is a big game for Liquid.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Day of the week.
A flame
Another
is
series
alight
versus
at its
BB that
base.
they feel very confident in. They feel like they have the tempo advantage. Another lineup that is going to push you
bottom tower
very hard
shakes
between that
with
20 to 30 minute mark.
And it's going to outscale you, right?
Yeah, I mean, think so.
They went Red Dragon, Dragon Knight. They've got a Beastmaster. They've got some supports that scale up. The Mirana is pretty scary going into the late game with some of the talents you brought. And it looks like we're going to have our first blood on our hands. Saika is going to try and defend himself. The Unstable Concoction on 2. Manages to maneuver around the brambles, so he doesn't actually die. No first blood just yet.
Well, technically, yeah, true. This is another game where, yeah, you kind of have to expect people to want to do well on the lane, at least build the lead, because I agree, Liquid's push, very scary with Trine to back it up. The late game, incredibly scary with Mirana Beast providing, you know, Solar Flare plus Inner Beast with a Dragon Knight to front line, Trine to sustain everything, and a Willow to give you some extra teamfight buff.
Your middle tower
I
is
just don't
under
think
attack.
you're not winning
If
Ultra
you're
late
not
here.
able to defend,
I just do not see it in the cards, and if you start to get pushed down, your ability to combat that push is okay. Depends on where the Batrider and the Kunkka's farm is to take that teamfight head on. Ideally, your way to win this game is to get a very fat Alchemist and push yourself. Like, you want to go into Liquid here with a farmed Alk, with a farmed Chen, who just gives you overwhelming teamfight sustain, and Liquid don't have the damage to contest you. So you really need to play a strong first 15-20 minutes here to get Nightfall online and have a very good Alk game.
Now, that being said, they do have the heroes for that, right? They showed it in game 1 that they could win the laning phase, and in this game 2, they've got, I mean, first of all, Alchemist, you know, traditionally thought of as kind of a slower hero, but this hero is hell to lane against. Now that you don't have this Gravel's Greed being leveled up, people actually maxing out Concoction, it is actually very tough to play against this hero, and you've got a mid-nature's Prophet, probably one of the fastest mids in this tournament, and they don't even need him to be able to find the first blood, as Saika is going to take a lot of damage on his way out, but he does manage to get the extra gold. The axes are not going to be enough to bring him down, and he'll send a little return present to 33 for that damage.
Big gold boost for Saika here, exactly what he's looking for in this laning phase, and extra experience with the Chen. Very valuable in this game. You want Toronto Tokyo getting to that 4 to 6 territory as fast as possible so he can start to get his own farm up, build into the early sustain, mech soul, or whatever he wants, and get that push going. The early farm for both these BB team supports is going to be pretty important here. I think Liquid doesn't need it as much. They just kind of want to get everybody online a little bit, so they're all lined up with this Beastmaster Ags, you know, throw some Tree and Sustain in there. But the levels, I think the early items for this support tool isn't as vital. The big question mark for this game, and the player here I'm looking to determine a lot of what we talked about, has got to be this GPK hero. Like, this is a hero that is very volatile. It's not been as successful in this tournament as I think it's been in pubs recently, for sure. But this is an explosive hero. You cannot doubt how well this hero can take the early game over if he gets a fast 6 and just start spamming ults into the side. That to me is his strength. So, if your BB team, you need to get this Furion online.
It's going to be enough. Shadow Realm plus Axes, it is enough. And Foxy get that last hit.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
The laning phase goes 1-1.
He's not able to recover the extra regen on this Alchemist from the earlier trades. Huge weight going into this Chen. So Toronto Tokyo going to get some extra farm, but Saika not too happy about where he is on the CS chart. Half the CS is being spent. 33 just dominating the early laning mechanics here despite that first blood gold injection.
That being said, BB team is doing very well in their off lane. This Batrider Kunkka lane, that sounds really annoying to play against. This Kunkka off lane is all the rage right now. Their ultimate time to watch the group stage in all 3 streams. had an off-lane comeback all at the same time. This is a hero that's being played a lot. I played it quite a bit leading up to this tournament. It feels great.
That must mean it's terrible.
No. I was winning with it. That's how you know. I was able to overcome it. Exactly. I have to say, I feel like this hero feels quite good despite the Aghanims change. The Aghanims is clearly worse than...
Yeah, that
Storm was just straight up broken, but it still feels good.
I'm not convinced of this new Axe. I see it being built a lot, but I feel like more often than not in the team fight, I see the double ship come out and then it's like nobody. Like, well, sure, there's 4,000 gold down the drain, and you fire some cool cannons, and I mean, you look cool, but that's about it. I'm not convinced by this new Axe. That's the one component of this hero I'm still looking to see the impact from.
And that's the funny part, is like now it's not the axe that's broken. You don't even need an item for the broken component of this hero, because it's the built-in rum pass that he has that I think is the broken part of this hero. And I agree, I'm not even sure if you necessarily need the axe. I think he's a great aura buyer, because you just can't kill this guy before he can get off some of his items. You know, that rum delay is just, it's painful.
It's also honestly decent catch versus a lot of the carry. He lanes pretty well versus a lot of these ranged carries. He's
Wind Ranger, Mirana.
Yeah. And then this X is really annoying for the mobile ranged carries, the Mirana, Wind Ranger, Lina type heroes. So unsurprised to see him back in the meta a bit. See how he paces verse 33. Once again, it's just, he is off to a blistering start on this Beastmaster. His big concern in your PvC fade here is this Furion down at the bottom of the charts. GBK is just getting out-CS'd by this Dragon Knight on Nisha. He does not care about the treant harass, and it is pushing Furion level down. He took that early 6 to harass the side lane, so Liquid should be very happy with this start here. They are getting what they want out of this laning phase right now, which is a strong Beastmaster who's going to get a fast Ags, a Dragon Knight who's laning perfectly well versus Furion, and is going to be in a position where he gets 6 bursts, which means if that Furion leaves, you're pressuring his tower and ultra free farming. If the Furion doesn't leave, he's stuck in a lane that's not going well for him. You're just getting massively out-farmed.
I do feel like you're guaranteed to leave, just because I think you're guaranteed to kill Mickey. You know? Like, once you hit level 6, X, Torrents, Nature's Wrath, plus a TP, I feel like there's no way a safe lane Mirana lives.
Don't hit the leap off yet. They're gone. I think you're going to have to wait for these side lanes. Nature's Wrath is up. GBK's lane phase, not been great, but he has the ult online. Really got to start cranking this out. This is not a spell you want sitting off cooldown. Just idle.
Double mana burn. There goes Mox. Mox is so cool there. Still has a Lotus, still has some wand charges, so we can still play with the Insania come through the gate. Put the pressure on Syka. Bold play to make, though, with the Nature's Prophet ready to go with his ultimate and save, making a counter TP rotation here. He is just sticking on top of 33. He's not backing away. He knows he can't make a run for it. Throws some axes, turns around, throws a bit of damage, but 33 is still going to get burned out. And BB Team now look for a second one. A big burst of damage. That Unstable Concoction comes through. Takes the Treant down to half. It's a simple play for BB Team to be able to clean up some kills off of that bit of aggression from Liquid.
Extra 250 damage coming through off the Furion ult. Yeah, some convert on that. The power of the ult early game, very hard to skirmish in this hero. You just have to make your moments work here. GBK going to try and recover in this game. See how many of these side lane opportunities you can find. Turns to go down. For the most part, you're on the map as well, and this gets Syka to 6, so bit of breathing room for this Alchemist. He's going to try and get a fast Radiance.
Yeah, he could start playing off lane if he wants, and in some neutrals.
I mean, if I'm Liquid, though, I'm rotating straight back up here. Like, I'm not giving this Alch any breathing room. You have push galore. In fact, they're going to take the Dragon Knight up here.
Nisha spots him, doesn't manage to get the initiation right away, but now 33, he's going to close that gap. They've got the Primal Roar combined with the Dragon Tail. So many stuns. BB Team is still going to fight this one, though. The boat's coming in. Miro, he goes for Nisha, a hard hero to be able to kill, and it looks like the damage is being split up here from BB Team. They're not sure who they're targeting right now, and Miro right now is trying to protect. He's not going to be able to do anything. Dragon Tail into an arrow stun. Mickey comes in with the extra help, and Save is trying to get this kiting back. 33, he'll get it. Well played by Save, being able to back him off, and now pushes Nisha back as well. Looks like he'll even survive through this engagement. So he comes out the shining star of BB Team, but the rest of the engagement, quite dirty.
Now push Save to his 6. I mean, nice plays on the back end of this fight from the bat. Salvages something out of what is otherwise just a wasted team fight for BB Team. Once again, Liquid out-rotating them in this early game.
Mickey out of leap charges, so he is done. X Torrent, and with Toronto Tokyo coming in,
that's a really
certainly have the damage.
extra experience for this Chen, getting some momentum back after a botched team fight top. You have to be ready for these Liquid rotations, particularly through the gate. Psycho, he just wants some CS here, man.
Yeah.
He does not want to be in these fights.
He throws the concoction, says, leave me alone.
My spirit.
Clean up this creep wave, and then you can have it. You gotta back off to the jungle.
I like how Liquid plays. They really prioritize making the first move and forcing this Furion to react to them, bringing him into disadvantageous, outnumbered positions. It's one of the ways you can abuse this hero, not let him dictate.
Right, go for Nisha. That early level 6, that save got off of that team fight is put to use immediately. One upside you could definitely say about this when it comes to the early game for BB team, they have not let this Dragon Knight abuse that mid tower too much.
And they played a much stronger early game between these two games than they have versus Liquid in a lot of these series over the year.
Yep.
And I mean, you got to give Save credit here. Like, if there's one thing functioning for a BB team right now in this series, it is him. Yep. He has dictated both of these early games to a large degree.
Tower is under
And
attack.
I will say, I honestly think Batrider might be his most impactful hero
Your
of
bottom
this
tower
kind of
has
event.
fallen.
Like,
I agree. Whenever he's playing Batrider, him and Nero just tear up the laning phase.
and this is a hero that can scale pretty hard. It's way better than Lion.
In EWC, right, it was the Batrider Brewmaster that they were running all the time that looked really good. GPK is going to be run down underneath this tower. TP rotations are coming in, though. Liquid surely are going to lose somebody off of this one, or maybe they're not. Boxy with his level 6, and with the Haste Rune, quickly picks up the Will-O-Wisp and starts using the Bedlam to bring down Save. They get that. Oh, and a torrent into a boat on 3! Miro, though, caught in the overgrowth, is not able to immediately get the damage. Insania will find his TP canceled. They'll collect the lives of both supports for this, right?
Shot.
Insania, there's nowhere you could go.
Collects. I mean, it's another fight that isn't that bad for BB team, but it's really bad for GPK. Yeah. If there's one thing Liquid are happy about, it's this Furion has basically had no impact in this early game, which to me is where this hero is supposed to be the scary. Early wraps of nature, the early rotations, him getting an network advantage off being able to be in multiple lanes at once. I mean, he's bottom of the charts. The early wraps didn't work out for him. He died first in those big team fights. Big is not having much of a better time, but I feel like that was not as emphasized component here for Liquid's strategy.
This Mirana hero is, I feel like, pretty chill. You fall behind in lanes, you're going to be able to farm up neutrals. The arrows and the Starstorm, your K-Boots build, you just kind of like keep trucking.
There's one big component between this game and last game, though. It is the BB team supports are going to be able to push waves a bit better. Like, Bat Chen are going to be able to farm a lot more, scale a lot more, bring a lot more to the table. We're already seeing them build a little bit of an advantage here. This is a very valuable game for Liquid, actually. Getting the Chen and all of his creeps here. A lot of gold, a lot of momentum shut down.
But Save, he gets the lasso, pulls him into Miro with the X-Torrent combination. They'll bring Nisha low, but a Terrorize save. Is that going to be enough? Doesn't hit the Alchemist. And with GPK behind him, they'll deliver the damage to get one core, but maybe two. Unstable Concoction, it goes off. 33 is already a distant target to go for here. They're going to have to go into 50. They do have to get the torrent on two of them, stopping the TP wave from Boxy. What a play from Miro.
He's been destroying this early game. I mean, this off-lane from BB has just salvaged so many of these fights. It's ridiculous. 2-0 and 7 start for the Kunkka. Blade Mail already up. Save is cruising to his Blink Dagger. And they are firing on all cylinders. 4-1 and 6 start for this Batrider.
And they get a little incursion into the triangle, knowing that Liquid is one of the teams that love stacking so much. They check for that, find a little double hard cam stack, though caught by an Insania Treant Protector. Hits him with the overgrowth. It's not good enough to get the kill on Save. He still tries, but Nature's Grasp not going to do any damage here. And that bit of aggression, they don't lose anybody. It gives the Alchemist space. He completes into Radiance at 13 minutes.
Ooh, Nisha barely missing that kill as well. That got them the top tower. I'm talking about space. That's a tier 1. Chen helps push it in. These supports for BB team. They did not lose confidence after this game 1. Went back to something that's a bit more sturdy for them. They have, as Book said, all the confidence in the world in these picks. It's showing right now in this early game. Yeah, I thought this was going to end up a lot worse for them based on how those early rotations and fights were going, but this is not a bad position at all. And again, the biggest factor is if you can push into Liquid, their lineup's a lot weaker. Right now, Liquid, they're the ones getting pushed into. They're losing some tier 1s. potentially losing control of this ancient area. An aggressive smoke play, don't have to blink for the bat, but they would love to find 33 on these ancient camps.
And this offlane Beastmaster is going to be a very different beast.
Oh, 14-minute
This
Wisdom
game
Rune.
two, trying to play for the Wisdom Rune steal. Boxy protects it. And maybe protects his own life in the process. Shadow Realming away. Stun on Miro. He doesn't want to get too aggressive, so they will find no opportunity here to take away.
I think
from
this
Team Liquid.
smoke is still good, though. Like, you looking at 33 right now, he's not happy with the situation. He's watching both of his ancient spawns on this 14 minutes get stolen here.
Yeah.
The Alk gets a lot of room to play with. The counter exchange here for Liquid is you're farming up this Mirana, but like, you know, I mean, it's a Mirana, right? There's only so much you can farm with this hero in the early game. You just don't have these early tier 1s to play around, and it's showing here for Liquid. GPK is recovering very fast, and it's not easy to make moves into this Blade Mail Kunkka. As you said, he's very tanky, and Liquid kind of lacked the early game damage a little bit. That's the one weakness of this lineup.
Yeah, and that damage isn't going to be coming from the Beastmaster with his build. He's going pipe. What do you make of that?
I think 33 just doesn't feel like he's going to be able to have the farm for an Ags and then translate it into an early Roche based on how much space they've lost. Like, you're looking at deep wards coming out in this top lane for BB Team right now. The Kunkka is going to be able to match the Beast in terms of team fight. It's not an easy 5-on-5 for them anymore to just, okay, we got Ags, let's go Roche, and we're confident we can take that.
Sure. But the pipe is also, it's not going to help you scale up either, right?
No.
Like, if you build this pipe, surely you've got to get something out of it right now.
It's also just not, like, it's a good pipe game. You're counteracting Radiance damage, but it's also not the most amazing pipe game.
Sure.
It's solid here for sure, but like you said, you kind of want to fight with it right now. This is where it's a big problem for BB Team. Where are you going to get that fight? The lanes are an issue right now for Liquid. And this is the advantage of like Chen Bat versus IO line, right? The Furion as well, he's going to just be pushing in all the 3 waves with ults, with Treants. These supports can easily shove in a wave and then go with the jungle. You're looking at the map right now, very constricted for Liquid, and deep wards on the lanes are scouting everything here for BB Team.
A lot of items are coming together. They have the pipe complete. They have the Gleipnir done for the Mirana. All that's left is Nisha's BKB, but they may not need it. Found an opening on Amiro. He got off his Blade Mail first, though. So instead, they turn to save. But look at Saika coming in from the side. Unstable concoction on it, too, with his Radiance. He is burning out the Beastmaster. Couldn't stop him before the Primal Roar, and now gets hit by the Overgrowth. But that's okay. They don't have the damage to threaten this Alchemist, especially with Mickey choosing a different target. He finished up the Kunkka. He got the Bat Rider. He comes in and gets a nice double kill. But BB Team, they are an equalizing force, and ultimately that net worth doesn't go anywhere. Stays at a 6K lead for BB Team.
Yeah, honestly, Mickey, he got the most out of that. And even actually an advantageous gold exchange for Liquid when all's said and done.
Oh yeah, just a bit.
So they lose 2 cores, but they recover a bit of this game for the Mirana. Now suddenly Mickey, he's top 2 net worth. Yeah, he got a lot off of that fight, and this damage is going to hurt. It takes a lot to commit onto this Kunkka, but once he's down, that teamfight's kind of open for the Mirana. There's not a lot that is going to stand there and fight him back in this game unless your Furion and Alk are just way ahead of him on the net worth. Even then, I think Mickey is the ultimate beast in this game. Like, Solar Flare Mirana with all the buffs and sustain behind him in this game is going to be scary to fight into the longer and longer this game goes. So I like this objective acceleration here for BB Team. This is what you want your Alk Chen game to look like. Skelly boys are going to
look at
part.
The rallied skeleton army going to work with the help of the acid spray. Got a decent amount of physical damage to get this done.
I think there's an argument you give it to GPK here. I don't think Nightfall ever will, but
you know. Sure enough, Saika, aka Nightfall, does take the Aegis for.
I mean, I think this is fine too. It's just, you know, like in theory, is Alk the first one in the fight or dying in all these exchanges? I think on paper he shouldn't.
Yeah, with especially with the boat buff, combining Chemical Rage's natural regen with the boat buff, just making you tanky enough that you don't die immediately. That's a pretty potent combination. Survivability. Boxy has his TP canceled by a Gleipnir. He'll try and make it as hard as possible for BB Team, but he will eventually die.
Man, it feels like the 3, 4, and 5 for BB Team here have just done so much on the map. Continuing to build just team fight utility for all 3 of these heroes. Gonna try and kite out Liquid, extra 4 stabs. Vlad's already done for the Chen. Solar Crest now done for the Chen. Toronto Tokyo found a lot of farm. And you have an Aegis on this Alk to play with. So the upside of putting it on this Alk is you can, again, push into Liquid. Which anytime I think you get to that point with this BB team lineup, you're happy. Liquid are not like going to get pushed in this game, and what a find from GPK. Just saw him farm in the bottom lane and catches him again.
Yep, they just sweep down. There's no way you could TP out faster than GPK can pull the trigger on that Gleipnir. They search for more. Miro's looking for the Train Protector, who does already have his shards, so not the easiest pick off. Liquid, they get their BKB done for Nisha's Dragonite, and they are going to be scaling up. But look at this.
This is nasty, right? I was about to say,
this
is a 20-minute early high ground from BB team. Like, you just go here with this Alk Aegis and say, what are you going to do about it, Liquid? Your out spam is pretty bad. We have the sustain with the Chen. We beat you to it. This is not where Treant excels.
Who is this BB team? Looking more like Gaming Gladiators right now.
Saves hands off the keyboard. It's like, I'm sitting here till somebody shows, and then I am dragging you straight into hell.
Now, they are not showing inside of the base, except for 33. 33 is a great target to be able to start on Lasso, but Liquid's coming in from behind. Can they get here in time to be able to save 33? They do jump onto the Chen with the Terrorize coming out, hitting GPK as well. They'll take 2 for 1 off of this one, and Mickey is going to work with some of his damage, but now he's being targeted. He gets Brawl back into some Nature's Grass, and it's not going to be enough. They manage to bring him down. Primal Roar goes out onto the Batrider now. With Miro being low, Nisha is trying to hunt him down, not in dragon form though, and Saika is still the king of this team fight. The Alchemist with the Radiance and the extra life is not going to be easy to bring down Nisha, realizing that he is in no man's land with so many heroes of BB team sitting between him and his base, trying to TP away. The X stops him, the Unstable Concoction stops him, and he goes down. BB team will resume their high ground push at 20 minutes with an Aegis still intact for Saika, and now they've got Insania potentially. Nope, slips into the trees. He's okay, but the lane of Barracks will not be.
Is this the slowest team at the tournament, Austin?
It doesn't look like it.
Are we watching the same squad that apparently is just AFK farms until they have to BKB TP out? Because that is not how they are playing this game right now. Aggressive buyback from the Furion, taking advantage of that instant teleport, giving BB team some extra numbers. That was a very solid flank from Liquid. Gave him hope in that exchange, but ultimately just not enough damage to crunch through all of the lives, all of the sustain here. And maybe, honestly, MVP of that fight, sure, you'll give it to Miro Kunkka kiting them out. You'll give it to the Alchemist, but it is the Skelly boys here. Toronto Tokyo had, I think, 6 or 7 skeletons giving rally buff to everybody in that exchange. He's got triple Dark Troll Summoner here. Nobody's killing these things. It's like a plus Sacred Relic on everybody. This Alk is hitting with double damage. Somebody deal with the summons here.
The buffs,
they're coming for you. They are pushing. That is the face of your demise.
Oh boy, BB team, what a turn.
Yeah, they are feeling this game right now, and they know how to play it. Big smoke from Liquid, trying to find a flank angle here. They had the right idea in that fight. Take the Chen out first, shut down the Kunkka if you can burst him. They really want to see the supports.
Oh, they cannot go through this. Kunkka. Miro is waving at him. He knows this initiation is coming. Will it still work for him, though? Oh, an Unstable Concoction locks onto the 2 of them with the Torrent Bow coming in. Oh, Liquid, this is not looking good. Nisha does manage to get off his BKB, so while 33 dies, Nisha's still able to fight this out, but he's not doing much damage. The Murata is, though, but the Murata doesn't have much HP to work, and then he couldn't finish off GPK. Yeah, maybe you can, Boxy, but this fight's done. This game might be done as they call it. 22 minutes. BB team, who are these guys? Go 0-5, criticized for years when it comes to their pace of the game and how slow they play. And all of a sudden, they just wake up in the middle of this series against Liquid. It just looked like an entirely different team.
I don't even understand where that game came from. I don't know if Liquid understands where that game came from, but it came from somewhere. That is a 23-minute victory here with an Alk push lineup off an early game that was not even that convincing. I feel like GPK got shut down. Liquid were pretty happy with their rotations. This Beastmaster was near the top of the net worth. And that Chen Batrider just turned it on, man. A support duo performance from BB team that just reeked of confidence.
I mean, that's one way to be able to stave off lower bracket. what a game from BB Team. What do you guys make of that performance?
It reeked of confidence, as Avery put there. But no, seriously, this was phenomenal. We weren't really sure how this last pick, Alk, was going to pan out for them. Was it too slow? Was it going to fit the momentum and hit the pace that was going to be able to overcome Liquid? I mean, we just saw it. The answer was yes, a 23-minute win for them. Was this Liquid being unprepared for how fast they were, or BB Team actually bringing something new to the table with heroes we've seen them play multiple times before, Jenkins?
Save MVP of the series so far. First game, he was keeping them in. He was one of the reasons why they were winning the fights with his focus on 33 and just good calls in the fights altogether. And in that game, we saw him salvage the lanes with the rotation top, and then he puts a ward in the Ancients. And I'm just looking at this, I'm like, this is one of the most efficient rotations I've ever seen. And Save just does these things casually. Like, this guy is so good. And the Alk looks great on Nightfall. It actually makes a lot of sense to pick a hero that is safe and farms and pretty much, plays like the Terrorblades of the world. But then you get all of your items so quickly that you can up the pace. Like, Alk is a farming pace hero. It's just that he hits the Terrorblade like 3-item timing faster than like a Terrorblade does. But then once Terrorblade has 3 items, he's way stronger than an Alk, right?
Yeah, and not to mention like the Kunkka kind of like, I feel like he had a couple of really important plays. He rotated to the mid and the top. He got a really crucial like 2-man, a torrent, cancel TPs, get them kills. Those type of moves kind of like allowed BBT to get to their timings on the Elk a lot faster. And on Liquid's side, I felt like with the Fire Dragon plus the Mirana carry, everything kind of, needed more time. Because early game, they were fine. Okay, they could have held the early game with the Beastmaster, the Treant, but it then comes to the point where when the Elk hits his timing, your DK and Mirana, they both needed more time to farm, so they couldn't fight into the Chen out.
Yeah, well, that's what we said before, is when you pick up Mirana, there is that flex between it being, like a pos 1, a carry, or potentially one of the supports, a 4 or 5, whoever's more comfortable playing it. But Mirana as a carry does need significantly more to be able to do what we feel maybe a Wind Ranger or a Lina might be able to do. So it actually felt like a bit of an inverse here. Whilst Liquid normally love to have that higher paced game, they really drafted for the opposite of that. And the Beastmaster not really being able to salvage it the same way that they were able to salvage the bad lanes in game number 1 for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, this really looked like kind of like a Liquid draft on BB Team's side. And Liquid are still doing their thing, but there's a heavy emphasis on this Beastmaster having a good game. And he was having a really good game, but the rotation from Save, he came over there, they ended up having some engagement, they got a kill on the Beastmaster. He even survived on the bat and he ran out, he TP'd out there. But his rotations really made this game. Also want to talk a little about Miro on the Kunkka. Felt like his torrents and boats were just on point this game. Like, he had really good spell casting, and I think if you just look at the heroes in general that they had, like this Kunkka, he has the rum buff that makes you very hard to kill. He also bought a pipe with that, and on top of that you have Toronto Tokyo, who's playing Chen. He's keeping people alive and sustainable. Alk naturally has a lot of regen as well. It just got to a point where you win 1 or 2 fights and you get all these aura items stacking up, and you can end the game in 20 minutes with the heroes that they had. NP's great at pushing as well. They just had a really heavy tempo lineup. They all bought into it as well, bought the items to go 5-man, and that's why this game just ended in 20 minutes. They all itemized for it, and they just won 1 or 2 fights, and they just ran away with it.
Yeah, in retrospect, Alk plus NP seems like a really nice duo if you can hit your timing, because Alk is this, like, he's going to get more items than your carry faster than your carry. That's how he works. So you are likely to, if the game is going decent, hit a timing where you can hit towers and you can have this hero sitting up there with like a Chen aura and tanking the tower, and then the Nature's Treant is just demolishing buildings. It's like Alk himself doesn't push that fast. It's okay. Yeah. But he can tank towers really well. And that's all you want as a Nature's Prophet player, is like a guy to just stand there and get hit by the tower, so your Treant can be like 3 catapults worth of damage on the tower.
Yeah, and you think about how all of this happened. I felt like it's so smart from BBT when they 18 picked the Chen. I felt like that was like, after they saw the Mirana being settled into a carry position, it was Treant, Mirana, Beastmaster, and then they picked Dark Widow last. So after they saw the Dark Widow, they realized, oh, this Mirana actually doesn't have any possibility of moving to a support. So he can't come to my lane to shoot my creeps with the arrow. So they decided that, okay, with the Chen, we can actually outrun and overwhelm them. And he decided that that was a good time to pick the Chen. Because usually on the 18 pick, that's the strongest pick you have on the first phase side. And using it on a support means that you are really, really confident that you can win the game with that pick.
I do want to mention one more thing.
Is it about Train Protector?
It's about Nightfall, actually.
Okay.
It's about-
Well, I don't actually want to hear it then.
okay. He didn't go Blink Dagger on Alchemist. Like, usually it's Radiance.
Is this what you ask? Computer, pull up
Computer,
Nightfall.
pull up. Go ahead and pull up Psycho on.
Why do you call him Psycho?
Because otherwise the computer doesn't know the system has an input as that.
Psycho.
It's an A at the end.
But I like the fact that they've got all these auras. They understand. We saw this in the earlier game with the Mars. XXS did not go for a Blink Dagger. On Mars, he went for like Pipe Vlad's. Similar concept here, where they don't need to worry about initiation. If you're running at enemy towers and you're confident that you can just plow those down, then all of a sudden
I
you
would
don't need
rephrase that to
initiate.
like he relied on saves initiation, where he didn't need it because save did go blink on Bat, right?
That's true.
Went
You've
forced
got
off?
somebody to
He
pull
went
them in.
blink force on Bat
Okay.
Rider.
Yeah. I think if you have a position for where he's not so mobile, he can't initiate, and he's buying the aura item, then you probably need to get a dagger.
I would still say if we were looking like, I don't know, let's say like 6 months ago, at an out game with like a lion or a bat, the Alk would still go for a blink to just double initiate. Like the Alk can jump the backlines, or the Alk can jump with the Bat Rider. But like because we're in an aura patch and they have the Nature's Prophet and the Treant to push the towers, he's like, what do I need a blink for? Like I'd rather just be tankier. Like blink doesn't give you any stats.
I'm not too familiar with Alex facets. If anyone would like to
Yeah, sure.
fill me in on the options and which
He
one you
gets
went with.
250 gold at level 1.
Seed money.
Yeah.
The other one, people haven't found a way to make it work. It's just when you're in
Your ulti,
chemical
your
rage.
nukes, your spells are less cooldown. The
I see.
Dispel and the Unstable Concoction.
Yeah, just the 2 nukes have lower cooldown.
And Berserk Potion.
We said 2.
Yeah, I
That's
said
one of the 2. That is correct.
Yeah,
He just really wanted to be in on the conversation.
He's an alchemist, so he makes potions.
Yeah, the 2 potions.
Really? Is that how that
I
works?
think
Yeah, but it's
40%
really bad. It's actually it's not bad. People are doing it offlane. They're doing it offlane.
Yeah, just the problem is with Alk right now, it's like 250 gold in the laning stage is just too good to pass up. So,
Yeah, start with a bracer. It's pretty cool.
yeah. Even though he started with 250 gold, he still had trouble staying in that lane. So imagine not having that 250 gold.
Yeah.
It can be rough. So
Yeah.
everyone gets the 250 gold.
That is pretty valid. We didn't see too much of a change in the bans for BB Team when they came into game number 2. Those game number 1, they were still really solid in their strategies. They ended up being able to just pick up that Nature's Prophet for themselves instead. Are we still looking towards what's going to be highly contested in that first phase between the two? And could Liquid potentially be the more reactionary team here?
They might have to think about the MP though. I think the MP is like maybe even a better Monkey King, like in a way. They both kind of function the same way. You sit in the middle and then you have kind of global presence, and you do some damage with your for MP's ulti. And I just feel like MP kind of does more in the team fight, does more damage. Whereas Monkey King kind of you need to rely on hitting your BKB timing. MP is a lot stronger early, so the pace of the game is a lot faster.
I was just looking at the common heroes that Beastmaster 6 times. There was a part of me, 33 is absolutely known for his Beastmaster along with the Doom as well. But something that coming into this one, Jenkins, you really highlighted how BB Team, they love to make a summons or a Zoom meta try and work for them, even when it's not popular, even when it's not doing
do.
well. And so
Yeah.
now I'm wondering, are they trying to move this Beastmaster up in pick to try and take it away from BB Team? Would BB Team even be looking towards that?
They could. This is a strange matchup because these are the two teams that will always try to make summons work. You have 33 and you have Miro, like the exact same heroes that you can list for 33 that he's the cheese expert on, like the Visages, the Beastmasters, the Lycans. Those are literally Miro's cheese heroes as well. So there was a world where I was thinking maybe even in this series we would see like none of them because they're
They'd
just
just be
confident.
banned out.
Yeah, banned out, or like Miro is very confident, like let him have Beast. Like I know how to deal with this. Then 33 is thinking the exact same thing, so they get ignored. But the thing is, like the Aghanim Scepter Beastmaster, which we saw in the first game, and 33 was going to eventually build into the Ags after the pipe, I imagine. At some point he was hoping to do that, but then they got crushed before he could do that. It's like kind of a different sort of playstyle than the summons Beastmaster. It's more of like a spellcaster
Yeah, I mean, Miro is actually so good now I think about it, because, like, yeah, he plays all those Zoo heroes really well, but we saw in the last game, he's also, like, Grandmaster on, like, Timbersaw.
Yeah.
His Kunkka is really good, which these are, like, the anti-Zoo heroes. So he clearly has played a lot of Zoo and lost to a lot of, like, Kunkkas and Timbersaws. Like, if people pick Zoo against me, I'm going to counter you with, like, the heroes that counter the Zoo. He seems like he really has figured out where, I feel like 33, he doesn't really play, like, the Timbers of the world. Maybe he can play the Kunkkas and stuff like that, but Miro's hero pool seems to be a bit larger in this matchup.
Yeah, they also have to kind of figure out the mid plus carry, you know, how are they going to balance things out? Like, if they're really feeling the carry Mirana again, they have to, like, maybe get a mid hero that doesn't really need to farm as much, like a Fire Dragon, you know. But overall, I feel like carry Mirana is not something that I'm very attracted to right now. I probably prefer them if they pick Mirana, put it on Boxy.
Yeah, I think looking back with the Nature's Prophet, how early it was picked up, I mean, it was the first pick for BB Team. They could have picked Nisha's hero there for themselves. They either knew it was going to be matched up against the Nature's Prophet, or if that got moved to carry, Nisha's been able to bounce back from bad matchups before. He's very comfortable in being able to pick that blind matchup, but they just said, okay, we're going to just show where this Mirana's going. We're not going to leave any of that flex open. And our last pick isn't really going to have that same impact. Because it was a Dragon Knight last
Yeah,
pick.
I think that's the thing that I would question in the draft. I had that like gut read watching the pick where I just thought, okay, there's some timing that I'm not seeing that Blitz is seeing in this game, because oftentimes you will literally see him pick into one-to-one counters because there's some timing that he thinks is very important. So I will always give him credit there. But I do feel like the Primal would have been a hero that answers the Nature's Prophet better, or just as good as a DK, but then offers more in terms of you're not picking a hero that's a carry mid and
economically he's cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. He's cheaper, or just go for the puck, which I think probably they were eyeing if it wasn't for knowing that this is like an NP mid. I'm not sure how puck versus NP is, but they pretty much had the same draft in the first game and they picked the puck. Maybe puck is less good against Alk. Like, I was really thinking that they would just say, you know, you pick this Alk, that's fine. You're going to try to cheese us with this last pick. We're going to play our style. We're going to win the game. But instead, they really tried to counter the Alk. They tried to counter pick. So I think the last pick is something they need to change this if they were to repeat that second game.
Yeah, it's not going to be repeated. I mean, you guys will correct me here, but Liquid are going to be the first pick. And I have a feeling it's probably just going to be Treant Protector again. That's something that they were comfortable opening when they had first pick. They were comfortable picking it up as well when they had second pick. So they're really not altering that first pick for themselves. But the first phase bans might be where a small change comes from. That one I'm still not overly convinced with.
I mean, you might need to think about this Treant Protector, because, like, it is good in a lot of ways, but I've not been super impressed with its laning stage so far. Like, game 1, it got completely dumpstered. Game 2, it looked okay, but not very good. I mean, Insania ended that game with brown boots, a circlet, and a windlace. You know, that was his inventory.
Yeah, that's my build too.
They had absolutely nothing after 22 minutes of gameplay. So, like, the laning stage needs to be addressed here for this Treant Protector. And we can even argue, let's say, game number 1. If BB Team played it flawlessly, they probably should have won that game, right? They really got away at the laning stage, were really far ahead. It really came down to Liquid just having good team fight execution that clawed them back into that one. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure about the Treant Protector.
I was going to say Ench is let through because they banned the Kunkka here. That BB Team had for themselves in game 2. And it was a toss-up between, do they ban the Naga, pick the Ench? Do they ban the Ench and pick the Naga? And they place it, or at least want it, a little bit more for the Ench. Maybe that's also to deter any summons that Miro might want in the offlane.
I mean, as Purge showed us this morning, the Nyx Assassin can be a good answer
Primal.
to
Just
the Ench.
Step on her.
Yeah. Both those heroes could be really good, but I don't think you'd pick Primal. I mean, you could pick Primal right now, but...
Okay, so they're going for that against the Ench.
I mean, that's kind of... That hero's like Primal, right, in a way. It's the same thing as a hero that just gets on top of the Ench. Doesn't really rely on the right click at all to kill her, so we can go through them.
Yeah, but the thing is, you kind of have a different way of playing the hero now. You're going for like Napalm and Flame Break. Like, you don't really get Firefly so early in the lane.
Remaining.
Yeah, but it's like not until later so you get untouchable anyway, like level 6. So
it's more about like you can deal with her later, and you don't really need to commit too many heroes of killing off Enchantress. Because the problem with dealing with Ench is like she kind of forces you to bring a lot of heroes to kill her.
True.
Or she buys enough time that the rest of your team is rotating to help you as an inch. To
Yeah,
turn the
I
fight
think
around.
that this is one of those matchups that's like
Liquids turn
whichever
to
hero has the item advantage looks better. Like Batrider can kill an Ench with levels and items. This is very hard to. Whose line is that?
Okay, that is one of the Russian talents
He
line.
did a
If
Joker
you-
laugh. Oh,
yes,
yes.
if you guys jump in and look at all the talent and go over to the Russian tab, he's like, you will spot him. He literally, his picture is the Joker.
I don't think they can hear that on stream though.
5 seconds.
Yeah, but Jenkins keeps bringing it up.
Can they not hear that on stream?
I have no idea.
I'm certain they can.
They can.
Yeah, no, okay.
No, there was one DPC where I brought it up and everyone's like, they cannot hear it on stream.
Oh,
Like,
I see.
you're just talking about sounds. But they can this time.
Okay,
They saw the voices on in my head.
Anyway, I don't actually mind Ench against Bat that much if it's not like a core Bat, because you'll have 3 bracers. You pop your heal, you max the heal, you'll heal through a lot of the Firefly damage. Like it takes a while to build up enough damage on the Ench where you get to the point where like the Batrider has just wasted his time on a position 5. But it does depend on items. If the Bat is ahead, then Ench is a free kill.
Sometimes I get like lost in like the rabbit hole of like, why did they pick this to counter this hero? But in reality, a lot of these teams just pick heroes that they think are good, and they just try to make it work. You know, and like this Batrider's just a good
10
hero. They won with it.
remaining.
Maybe they're not even really caring about the Ench right now.
Guys, Liquid have let
5
Omni through
seconds
the
remaining.
second phase. In game 1 and 2, they banned it out. They've done a big change up. The Alk, the Undying. We've seen Toronto Tokyo play the Undying before. It did lose, but they're taking it out. They know it's in their wheelhouse, and now I'm wondering, why are they banning that out? Why are they letting the Omni through?
Because there's
Yeah,
they
Omni
have a
not-
counter in mind.
Omni is probably not really that high up in their radar right now.
So I am so
10 seconds
confused
remaining.
right now because like this clearly shows me that
5
there is
seconds
no meta
remaining.
right now. Like we came in here, all these heroes are really good, everything got banned. Our first phase is like changing drastically. Teams are like letting heroes through that most people said were just like too OP. And I think as this tournament like progresses and we get past the road to the international into the playoffs, I think we're gonna have like a completely different meta set, and we're still trying to figure out what the meta
10
truly is right
seconds
now.
remaining.
Because like Omni was also ignored in the
5
last
seconds
series as well in one of the games.
Yeah, I feel like with Omni, with the nerf that he received the last week, it kind of made his lane a lot worse. And before, I feel like as a position 5, you could just pick Omni and pair with anything because you're so strong in level 1 and level 2. But right now, because you're significantly weaker at the level 1 and level 2, and you see players kind of, when you pick Omni, they want to pair it with like a carry that can make it work. You can use the heal like Weaver and Morphling. So that kind of limits your combinations, and I feel like if you're opening up a position 5 hero and you need a specific hero to make your lane work, then it's not a very good opening for the draft.
I love this draft from Liquid so far. I think the Weaver is an excellent pick. It's a hero that can be really easily left alone against a Batrider plus Timbersaw. You're never going to die because
10 seconds
he
remaining.
can't be slowed, and all Timber and Bat do is slow you, which means
5
that the
seconds
Enchantress can go
remaining.
through the portal and go for kills. And guess who is the best pairing for Enchantress to get kills with? It's the Tusk, because you can, although people are going for
You
the...
didn't let me guess.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it Tusk?
It is Tusk, actually. Yeah, these are like 2 of the best run under a tower and dive and go for kills supports together. Like they can play super fast, and you can also do that to the Weaver lane. Like you can run the Tusk to the Weaver Ench lane, you can run the Ench to the Tusk lane, and it is very strong.
I want a close up on Mickey's monitor because like you know how you can edit your hero list.
Oh, right, yep.
I feel like he has 6 heroes on there that all buy Gleipnir. And they just.
I'm just laughing. I'm just
like,
laughing because like there's a genuine like potential that is. Like that exists.
Yeah.
He's like made like specific boxes for them, and he's like
just one
carries that
line.
don't build Glip.
No, they're just
carries
6
that
heroes.
do build Glip.
That's it. There's 6 heroes on the screen. They all buy Gleipnir. It's like Wind Ranger, Weaver. He even buys Gleipnir on TA, by the way. Lena, and then I'm missing one. And that's it. That's the
Mirana.
list. Which one do you have?
Gyro.
Mirana? Which one of these do you want to play this game? Let me see. Out of these, what is best? Oh, that one looks good.
That
They
would-
have low stuns.
That would
Pick Weaver.
unironically be a good way of like figuring out what is the good meta heroes. Like you just make a list of Battle
10
Fury heroes, and when
seconds
Battle
remaining.
Fury is strong, those heroes will be the meta. Like the Trolls and the Ursas of
Yeah.
the world, and the
5
NPA,
seconds remaining.
Juggernaut.
I mean, items make the meta.
Yeah,
it's
they
more
do.
so than the heroes.
Yep.
Almost every single patch. It just so happens to be the heroes are popular in the meta because the item is good on that hero. And that's Gleipnir for you. I don't think there will be a single game, quote me on this
I will.
entire
I'm
TI
quoting.
where there's not one Gleipnir in the game.
All right, someone clip it. Send it to me. Oh, fear.
Yeah.
But how bad is Gleipnir on Troll? Like, can't you just build...
People have done it before.
Yeah.
But
actually
he's saying
was a
just
build.
one in the game.
Yeah, on either
like,
side.
On either side. So just one hero has to build it. So he's kind of covered himself, I guess. Whatever.
I'm not saying every carry's gonna buy it. There's gonna be some alchemist or PA or something at least once, you know?
And the post fours will be picking it
Yeah,
up. The whole
exactly.
laners.
Or the mid NP.
10
True.
seconds remaining.
Someone's still gonna look for it.
A DK Phoenix, good combination. The
5
heal
seconds
on the
remaining.
DK. And the Phoenix is always very good at dealing with the Tusk in the lane.
What about the other three heroes for BB team here? Are going to enable the Dragon Knight a little bit better than when Liquid had it last game.
Spirit.
I think every hero on BB team can make fire.
That you don't even need to think that. That's just true.
They all make fire.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah? And? I'm waiting for the connection here.
That was the connection.
Oh.
How do you put fire?
No,
out?
fire melts ice. Tusk is GG.
Okay, okay.
But
Tusk
if
is
you
now a
have enough
known
ice,
factor.
it can put fire out. It's all about quantity.
You know, I'm
Ancient
asking a legit
Apparition would
question.
actually be good. not they have 2 supports already, but against the
10
healing,
seconds
there's a lot of healing on the side of BB actually.
Morphling would be really good for
5 seconds
BB
remaining.
team.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Anyone else want to elaborate on that?
No, I was thinking, is there some meme that he's making there? But I think it's just a.
No, I think he's
It's a good.
back on track and he's actually giving a
It's a
good
good more-
I was actually memeing because they've got too much fire. They need
Okay, so he
Oh
was.
my
memeing.
goodness.
I was thinking
water.
that.
No, it's a little bit of both, but Morph is quite good for their roster here because like you can turn into Weaver, make the bugs, Sakuchi in the fights. It's very strong on that hero. Very good carry to carry matchup.
There's very little lockdown for a
Yeah,
morph.
Indeed.
10 seconds remaining.
Just the Storm, who would have to pick up an Orchid then.
5
a
seconds
Death Prophet
remaining.
ban. A little bit curious about that one. I know people had mixed feelings coming into, you
It
know.
used to be a counter to tanky heroes.
Yeah, but it's more about where Death Prophet's sitting in this meta right now, or in this
Team
patch, I should say.
Liquid's
Sorry, because
turn to
like you were
bat.
saying, the meta hasn't really been defined. But where is she sitting within this patch, and is she really
Niche
strong?
pick. It's definitely a niche pick. It's
Okay.
really good for Storm in the lane. You can bully Storm pretty hard. One of the few heroes I can just like not really care about the remnants and just run into, bully out. You have silence later on in the game, which
10
helps a lot.
seconds
So
remaining.
definitely an option.
I think it's pretty underrated, and part of why
5
they,
seconds remaining.
I think that Liquid wanted it is because you have Ench and Tusk who are going to be diving towers. They're going to be really active. Storm plus the Weaver are 2 really active cores as well. So they do need a hero in the off lane that can do a little bit of tower damage, and then also a ranged hero with Tusk feels excellent. Let me see. What are the other options for some sort of like tower taking?
Less Shrek with the
Offlane.
normal facet
No, that's
For which team?
for Liquid.
for Liquid.
For Liquid.
Some ranged hero to play with the Tusk. It doesn't have to be a ranged hero. I know people will.
I mean,
say,
ideally it would be a range hero.
but it's ideally a ranged hero.
I mean, it's 33.
Yeah, it's 33 though.
Is okay. Visage is banned.
Visage is banned.
I mean, Beast is a pseudo range, but he's.
I should have said it. I was
Oh, okay.
thinking-
Yeah, that's it. That's
yeah,
the one.
That's the hero.
That's the one. In retrospect,
Morph got a lot worse.
it should have been obvious.
Maybe you just play the DK at this point.
As carry.
Yeah. I mean,
10
because like
seconds remaining.
I'm thinking, what's in the play? I mean, Gyro got banned. Alchemist is banned.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, Shadow Fiend could work, but I don't think he's gonna play Shadow Fiend. That does not seem like a Nightfall hero. The Medusa's banned too, right? Yeah, that's
Yep.
a hero that's pretty decent.
Oh god. Troll with he can go Gleipnir on Troll.
I mean,
does like
if they
troll.
want to go with the team, they need Lina.
I mean, Lina is unironically very good.
Lina is.
I know you're going with the fire though.
I mean, without the memes, Lina is unironically very good here. Because, like, the new build on people are doing with Lina is getting mana boots and maxing your nuke. But, yeah, they're going to just go
Now
DK
select
carry.
your heroes.
Pick the Queen of Pain for the mid lane. Used to be a bully to the Storm Spirit. I'm not entirely sure if that's still the case, but
I don't
You
think
don't,
it's
you don't
so
go
bad.
dagger anymore, so I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad either with the remnant static slide facet where you can like make them move
right.
location, because then you're not walking up so much and getting daggered and getting harassed.
Yeah, I imagine they're just going to trade farm, right? I think the one merit Co-op does have in this game is there's not a lot of lockdown here, at least from, like, Weaver doesn't have any, Tusk is pretty difficult, Inch is difficult, Enigma is very cooldown dependent, so you do have some lockdown for the Co-op, has a good laning stage. Co-op is actually incredibly strong right now, but if you get to your item timing, this hero's like hit or miss.
I kind of like the balance they have with the DK, Corp, and Timber. It's not too expensive like the last game where Liquid had DK and Mirana. I feel like this kind of has a balance. Everyone is hitting the timing. You create space for each other to farm. And yeah, I feel like it's a really, really good last pick there for them.
I'm not so sold on the Queen of Pain recently. I feel like it's kind of been figured out. I get the whole, you know, Dagon like healing lifesteal co-op mid. I have seen it absolutely pop off, but I've also seen it like blink in and feed to
hit or miss.
A black hole. I agree with the hit or miss sentiment. I'm kind of feeling like these days it's more miss than it is hit. Now that people are not like surprised by what she's doing with the spell lifesteal. You know, you see her at like 40% HP and you're like, oh, we got her. She Dagon's a creep and she's like full HP again. Like people realize you have to full to zero the co-op. Don't necessarily like chase her in the fights. It's not as much of a lane dominator as it used to be.
Well, look, it's game number 3 in this best of 3, all right? It's going the full distance. It's going to decide who sits in upper, who sits in lower. So I do want solid predictions in terms of who you think is going to take it. Just say the team.
I mean, BB team, they just have really powerful heals, a lot of damage.
Okay.
Fire.
Fire.
I'm going to go Liquid, 33 on Enigma, uncountered. That's a problem.
Uncounted. Alrighty, let's jump on into it, though. Let's get into a game number 3 with our casters, Cap and SBG.
Down in the hole, 0-5, staring into the abyss. And BB team pull off one hell of a game 2 against Team Liquid, a team that they have struggled against for so long, Avery. I'm a believer, man. I feel like they're talking about hit or miss for this BB team lineup. I think this is a hit, man. I think that game 2, I haven't been excited about watching BB team this much since, I don't know, probably like a year or 2 ago.
You've been converted, huh?
Yeah, man, that one game was hype.
They have convinced you, and they have gone back to the save Batrider, which absolutely dominated that game. I was looking at Liquid's bans. I felt like they were the ones who had to kind of pick the poison now, right? They banned the Kunkka. They were still afraid of the Shadow Demon, which has been a huge hero for save, and Toronto Tokyo will play it. They got rid of the Naga, which has just been a huge team fight threat. But, you know, they left things like that Batrider that sneaks through, the Timber from game 1. BB team going back to something that worked in that game 2 and trying to bring some more team fight to it. This game could absolutely go either way. I think both teams have a lot of team fight. They have a lot of scale. They have some spooky cores if this game goes really late.
What started things off the right way would be perfect, but the smoke reveals Liquid's positioning.
And I think this Enigma is the real X factor. I mean, we are at TI. We have an Enigma in the game. We have Phoenix in the game. 2 huge team fight ults that both teams really want to play around. And they really want to get their offlaners off to a good start between the Timber and the Enigma to try and, you know, take early towers, take that game over. I think that was a huge difference in that game, too. Liquid lost some of their tier 1s very early in that game. Some of it was the Furion. You can't really prevent it. But some of it was they just got all pushed in, right? And they didn't react to it too well. They weren't able to bring the Mirana into some of those early fights. The hero just wasn't ready for it. Weaver is a carry that can be explosive here for mid-game. Like, this is a very strong skirmisher early, very strong laner. In theory, has a pretty free early game here, very limited stuns, right? Your one stun in this early game, outside of when you get that lasso line, is on your carry here for BB team. So in theory, this Storm and Weaver could go absolutely ham. Looking at early rotations, early runes for Nisha, just start swarming these heroes, and you can do some serious damage.
Okay, but you're not talking about the one hero I want you to talk about.
Lone
Panel
Druid.
started talking about it.
Where is Lone Druid, Austin? That is
Talking about GPK's hero, the Queen of Pain. This is a hero that has been terrorizing pubs lately. There's pretty much only one build, which is Dagon. And we haven't seen that much of it at this tournament, considering how much it was picked up in these pubs. I feel like it was kind of like the Mid-Nature's Prophet that was super popular leading up to this tournament and just didn't get picked up quite as much as it was in pubs. Do you believe in this hero? Because it seemed like the panel was a little iffy on.
I think my faith in Queen of Pain scaling is there for sure. I think this hero scales like an absolute beast. It's actually very difficult to beat this hero in late game fights. She just does way too much damage. Like, you can at some point get the dagger ags back online, right? And then she just perma kites you. the Sonic Wave becomes an absolute menace with lower cooldown and how much that pure damage really shreds you through a lot of these like barriers and random crap. I do have faith in this hero, but it can be a little clunky if that early game doesn't go your way in terms of runes and more like the enemy mid snowballs. The enemy mid snowballing more and you have that 1 or 2 early deaths on the Queen, it can feel a little clunky. If you get through that phase though, this hero's a nuisance. It's deceptively tanky as well. This is not the old Queen of Pain where like you just go on her and she gets stunned once and she just dies. She usually gets to between 1500, 2k HP like pretty early on in that early mid game. And sometimes you go on this hero and she just doesn't die. And suddenly you're getting screamed down. There's a random rune, an extra heal.
She gets a kill, she gets the Dagon heal.
Yep.
Right?
So
It's like,
we're gonna see Dagger leveled here for GPK. He's just trying to do better on the lane, secure himself a better early game burst of Storm. This is not just the Scream Blink build that you might see going into, you know, being tankier.
it's what most people are building, right? 044 has been the build for most of these co-ops and pubs.
This is an older style. It is a lot more about the lane domination, perhaps setting up a gank potential for Save to come into this mid and get the Storm pre-level 6. That would be a huge pickup if you can kind of wear through Nisha's region, get to that point. I just don't know if you can with the water runes on Storm. It's kind of difficult, but he is winning the early CS a little bit here.
Yep.
And it's a good sign for him. And lane's pretty even across the board, honestly. No one's really suffering or getting punished too hard here. Everybody finding a little bit of their farm. A little extra Eidolons for Nightfall. I'll be happy about that.
Yeah, that is the one thing. The Dragon Knight is doing okay in CS. That being said, a decent amount of it is Eidolons, which are worth less gold-wise than creeps, so...
I do think Liquid have more roam potential. I think you kind of want to get a little bit more done with this Enchantress Tusk. Combine them in the early game. You could make the gate rotation on Insania and flank this DK bottom, particularly if the lane is up this far. Like, this DK is susceptible with level 2+ Eidolons here. You have Tusk to give you some extra damage and lockdown, chase potential. You really have to think about these supports and where they are in the early game. If you're a BB team, Liquid are going to try and make the most of them. They don't have the gank threat mid. Maybe that's the one part they're missing here with this Ench Tusk. But the side lane threat is absolutely there. And Weaver is another rotation potential, but also a hero you can rotate to. Threaten this bat in the skirmish, threaten this Timber. You get a good bug on him, deep up the lane.
Yeah.
So side lane equilibrium, really important for both these teams. And you really have to think about the power runes here as well. 6, 8, 10 minutes. Which mid gets these power runes? Very vital.
Gonna dive, go for kill on 33. Eidolons are gonna take out, so there's no real threat whatsoever. He just has his facet, or his passive, to be able to help him out and get some extra Eidolons off of that. And does manage to get the kill on Toronto Tokyo as a result, but they take advantage of the fact that Boxy went on a bit of a walkabout there to secure the 4-minute water rune bottom, take that away from GPK. Helps Nisha, but costs 33 his life.
It's a very valuable water rune, because you're looking at the Dagger Queen here. And this is where that pressure starts to ramp for the Storm. So removing the regen from the Queen of Pain, really instrumental here, but there's no bottle refill. In fact, he's just got the TP out now.
Yeah.
This is tough. And bottle refill comes in for GPK. That Toronto Tokyo death, honestly, was about as good as it gets for a death in the early game, because, you know, the Enigma's not on the lane. The Tusk had to walk back. You're out of resources. Instead, you get a instrumental here, but there's no mid when that water rune got denied. I feel like that whole sequence, Toronto Tokyo not too sad about it. And solo XP for the Dragon Knight is going to be nice here. Deep ward from Save, going to try and scout the jungling Storm. This is really heads-up gameplay. You know Nisha cannot play for his 6 on the lane. The dagger spam has just been too influential. But they can't really connect here. Heads-up idea, but...
Yeah, I mean, if Nisha stays alive here, which it seems like he will, this may cost you some of the sideline presence that was seemingly going pretty well for BB team. But they're going to stick around for the 6-minute power rune, so that should go the way of BB team. We'll see if they can actually get it into the Quap's bottle.
This did cost them a lot of momentum on this bottom lane. 33 gets to farm a bunch of waves, build up those Eidolons. Now you have to rotate back. You're going to get your obs dewarded there as well.
And this is not like the Enigmas that we've been seeing lately are not like super passive and based around their ultimate entirely, right? We're seeing this Eidolon build where you go the drums and maybe you get the shard and you're actually a real threat with these Eidolons early on against pretty much anybody in the game.
Yeah, you don't think about Black Hole until way later.
Yeah.
Little shards for a courier. Nice little pickup. Save up here with an Invis rune. He actually snatches that first one out and looking for Mickey, but can't get the connection. Would have been a nice pickup. So a lot of the pressure here, at least in the early game, did go into the Storm Spirit. He is the one suffering here in terms of the net worth. Not by a huge margin, but
he's still not level 6. He's going to get it off of this wave, so he doesn't die against the Quap Dagger, but he might as well have. Kind of like a full half level behind, a bit behind in net worth here. You can see 700 down.
And if you just keep him low, there's not that rotation potential.
Yes.
That's kind of what BB team are looking for here. Whereas GBK, he keeps his mana high. He can counter gank one of these side lanes if Liquid try and push it with the idol.
That was nasty. See that? Insania, with his creep, manages to deny the Wisdom Rune.
Super value.
They get the bug on Miro. TP rotation coming in. Boxy. Oh, that was quite the move. Pulls himself to the Weaver and then pulls the Weaver to the Timbersaw with the snowball.
Very nice connection. Kind of a janky gank, but ends up working out. And there was no Queen counter gank on that play. So Mickey gets away with it. You get that Wisdom Rune deny. Big wins on the map for Liquid here. Support's putting in some work.
33, he will die to the rotation from the Queen of Pain, but still managed to get the kill on the Phoenix, and this time around got the experience for it.
I mean, 1v3, you get a kill. Can't be too sad about that.
No.
And you got that Queen teleport out. That was a big one in this early game for BB team. Kind of had to pick which lane it went to. I think someone was going to go down to it no matter what.
Sure.
At least you get something out of that 1-on-3 exchange, and now you can ramp up the pressure mid. Get a power room for Nisha, and it's a regen. Super value here.
Pretty much the perfect rune for him. GPK gets his bottle refilled. Boxy spots the stacks that Save was putting in.
Can't give him away.
Nisha, he's going to take the regen rune and take your stacks.
Can't give these away. If you're saying you lost your Wisdom Rune, now you're losing your stacks. It's bad. He's going to have nothing out of this early game if BB do not defend this. He's level 3. This is not the early game we've seen out of Save from those first 2 games. He was the driving force behind that first 20 minutes. Here, he is a liability.
Yeah, now that means somebody else on the side of BB team is going to have to step it up, not just the captain.
There's going to be some early pressure coming in between 3, 4, and 5 from Liquid in this game as opposed to what it was last time. This Tusk, Ench, Enigma are going to be strong on the map. A lot of early, just raw skirmish power with this drum on the end. They're going to back it all up. It's a lot of right-click coming through in these early exchanges. You have to respect it. Cannot just get caught out in these random jungle areas or tower fights, getting outnumbered here if you're BB team, especially with how low level your supports are right now.
They're not going to let any support stick around in this bottom lane and soak some experience. Toronto Tokyo is going to be found after the dive away. An easy pickup for Nisha.
Exactly what you're looking for if you're Liquid. Abuse the level advantage right now. These 2 BB team supports are absolutely useless in a sense. They just don't have the level they need to fight. And you're closing in on 6s for this Ench and Tusk. Easy tier 1 tower for 33 down here. He continues to ramp up post farm core out of the laning phase. He's going to add to it with a free tier 1. BB team kind of looking a little lost as to where you're supposed to strike on the map right now. You can't go into this Weaver. It's just a dead lane in terms of game potential. Don't have the stun.
Snowball, it's going to pound through, go to Toronto Tokyo. Nisha jumps away, dodging some of that Sonic Wave damage. Boxy, he'll back out. A lot of damage done, but ultimately they get a kill and get out. Which is great for Nisha because he's closing that net worth gap between him and the Queen of Pain. He's getting more stacks for his mana regen off of all of these kills. And if you can keep it within, some sort of like 500, gold distance with this Queen of Pain, I feel like it's a pretty free storm here.
Yeah, you're very happy with this situation. Very little stuns to have to play around. No real Gleipnir buyers either.
Yeah. I mean, if he gets like an early Linken's, it's going to be tough because you just got these single target disables, right? Dragon Tail, Blink Lasso. You deal with one of those with a Linken's, you probably stave off the initiation from BBT.
These creeps have been on point from Insania. He's just scouting all these camps, blocking up some stacks. This is a massive Ancient stack. Again, so much experience Save needs in this game.
And they're going to fight around it. Liquid, they're going to get the kill on Save as Save commits to kill the Observer Ward. Boxy hanging out here on the high ground is going to use the Snowball to get himself down.
don't think Liquid can steal this stack, but it is more economic damage done.
Yeah.
They're even rotating the Enigma over, so you're going to get to farm up some of this at least. Pressure BB team. Continue to abuse the support duo here. They're going to attempt to steal some of this. This is pretty clunky, but what is the turnaround potential? Dagon is finished for the Queen, so you have some big burst damage on GPK.
Miro in some trouble. Turns around, Chakram's not going to be able to get the Timber Chain out of here. The Snowball stops him. Saika, he comes in way too late to be able to do anything about this. Liquid just group back up around the Ancient stack.
You might have to Queen ult this, honestly. I don't know if that's what you want to have to do, but you just give Liquid this stack. I mean, what does this Dragon Knight have to fall back on?
Between the Eidolons and the neutral creeps from Insania, they're getting so much information from BB team.
This is indecision right here.
Yeah.
You didn't take the fight, you didn't contest the stack, and you weren't pushing out the other lanes while this happened. That's the biggest loss. You came and watched them get away with it. Just staring down a gold deficit. This is such a turn for the early game of BB team, who have been dominating a lot of the early game skirmishing, it felt like in that game 1 and 2.
Yep.
Liquid just giving them nothing here. Just been absent, particularly Save. He has not found any momentum. Cores are still in an okay position, but the feel of this game it's been an abrupt turn, and Liquid very happy with how it's going right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going Dagger Quap, you better be winning that first 15 minutes of the game, and that is not the case. Up 2K, cut down to a little bit shy of that just now, but Mickey, with that safe lane tower gone, he can push in this bottom lane very aggressively. You've got the Enchantress setting up shop and pushing in this top lane with just a creep. Farming out jungle everywhere, 33's certainly making good use of that.
He's just going straight pipe, and it's going to be a good pipe game. You're also getting Orchid up on this Storm. I was curious if this Queen was maybe going to go back for one just to help deal with the Weaver and the Storm, but...
Yeah, that's what I imagined that this Quap game was going to be. It was a fast Orchid game that just kills the Stormseer, kills the Weaver a couple times early, and sets them up with some really good momentum. But unfortunately, the momentum really didn't start too much.
Just gave up your tier 1 mid, too.
Blink Dagger for Saika. So maybe they can do something off of this? They're missing initiation for sure. So with the blink in, the Timbersaw and Quap can follow that up.
I think Nightfall might have to make some moves with this.
I think so too.
At least look for 1 or 2 pickoffs on some of these cores and join a fight, because it's got nothing else going for you, and Liquid are taking over this map right now. They are out farming you, they're stealing camps, taking watchers, getting wards up, just controlling everything. Gleipnir is done for the Weaver here at 1430. Okay, incredibly farmed. And Orchid done as well.
Got him. Any saves? There's nothing really there from BB team. It looks like they might not be able to do enough damage though. GPK does manage to survive through that, but the Supernova is put down. The Black Hole gets used, but coming in from behind! Miro hits a huge Timber Chain whirling death that gets 2 core kills.
Nightfall with some nice
and a third one on top of that.
What a disaster for Liquid, an aggressive go. They thought they had the timing with the Orchid and the Gleipnir finished exactly on point. They get the jump on the Queen, but this is what I was talking about, the Queen of Pain tankiness. In this early mid-game, he's already up to 1800 HP. Tread's done for GPK, lets him survive. Fire Spirits come through from Toronto Tokyo, stalls up all the extra right click. And his boy Nightfall there to tank the Black Hole. Ends up working out under this tier 1. Maybe kind of the dream fight for BB team in some ways. Like, you're going on their tankiest hero who survives, and then sure, you get to kill this egg, but there's a lot of damage coming out. These heroes are half HP for Liquid, and then you get a 3-man Sonic Wave into that Timbersaw burst. That's just juice for Miro here.
Fantastic routing from Miro. His Timbersaw,
and it
huge
also
playmaker in game 1.
It begs the question, like, was that move necessary for Liquid?
No.
They had the whole map. They had it constricted. They had the vision advantage. It felt like BB team were the ones who were going to be forced to make a smoke play to try and break that hold, and then you can counterplay that as Liquid. That just kind of played it into the BB team's hands a bit. Gives them some life in this game.
Yeah, certainly no reason that you had to dive a tier 2 against a Supernova Phoenix. Miro jumps into all of these heroes that he didn't know was there, immediately orchid it up. He's in trouble, and he's going to be left behind. His BB team now start backing themselves away. Mickey, he came in through the side, got the pick up on save, and now Nisha's diving in for more. With the Malefice on Toronto Tokyo, they'll grab a 3rd kill out of this one. Apparently Liquid, not deterred by the failure of their last team fight. They take another one here. Mickey does manage to jump away just before they jump in from GPK. 1 in, 1 out, turns around, Sonic Waves, trying to finish up 33. It's not going to be enough. He dies as well. They just got wiped.
That is more of the fight Liquid we're looking for. Just starting these random jungle areas, get the jump on a good target. In that case, it's Timber going straight into you. Miro just did not know where they were, and he ended up chaining into the wrong area of the map. Liquid get that 5-man wipe they were looking for with this Orchid Gleipnir. Make it look a lot easier than the first time around. We'll put a lot of their spells on cooldown here.
Miro just coming right back to the same scene of the crime here.
I mean, he knows the resources are a bit lower, but yeah, you do have to respect the lockdown right now. This Orchid has been putting in work and saving. That is just not the area you want to be in right now. Nisha has struck back in this game with a force after the rough lane versus the Quap Dagger. It's just done so much more. BB team on the back foot as they are continuing to bleed around the map. These supports have had a rough one, and now they are food for the fodder.
Yeah, with all these lanes pushing in, the map is very small for BB team, and that just makes the Storm more and more effective. I mean, he's getting 4.5 mana regen out of these Galvanized stacks right now, and he really doesn't have to jump that far for a lot of these little fights that are happening.
And when he jumps in, you've got that pipe to back him up. You've got a snowball save to bail him out.
True.
Enchantress heal. There's some okay utility here for him to rely on. And again, what's your lockdown for this Storm? You have to land the Dragon Tail.
They got him! Dragon Tail! But he had a shield rune. Oh, that's so annoying.
It wasn't enough anyway, is the thing.
Yeah.
Like, Orchid on the quad prevented the damage coming out, and you just... Or on the bat prevented the chain stun coming out, so...
Right.
This one stun is just not enough right now for BB team. Liquid taking advantage of it. Need to push their advantage.
Make sure to keep the lanes pushed in, hoping to keep BB team on their side of the map. BB team is not going to do that, though. They push out onto Liquid's side, knowing that it is honestly much safer over there than it is near their own base.
Yeah, I mean, the way you can break this is to push out top, get Liquid to TP up here, and hopefully not lose anybody on the way back out. Otherwise, you at least trade the map 50-50, which right now you're probably okay with if you're BB team, because this 5v5 is not looking doable until you have Bad Blink.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Going on their tankiest hero at some point in this game. We'll also see at what point Liquid feel comfortable enough to force Roshan, because you have this pipe, Boots of Bearing build on the Enigma. In theory, you can go into that pit and kind of force the 5v5 maybe kind of the dream fight for BB team in some ways. Like, you're going on their tankiest hero who survives, and then sure, you get to kill this egg, but there's a lot of damage coming out. These heroes are half HP for Liquid, and then you get a 3-man Sonic Wave into that Timbersaw burst. You know, just get that's just juice for Miro here. You're not finding a lot
Fantastic
right now.
routing from Miro.
Dual
Scepter, but he comes back down into a world of hurts. An Orchid keeps
for Liquid,
him in place,
and then you get a 3-man Sonic Wave into that Timbersaw burst.
This tier 2 is falling
That's just
fast.
juice for Miro here. Blink for Bat, done.
Fantastic routing from Miro.
Timber while you were waiting for this last trickle of gold. So like,
fight
where
for
are you
BB
smoking
team in some ways, like you're going on their tankiest
hero who survives,
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
sure
you're
you get to kill
smoking
this
just to
egg,
get out on the
but there's a
map,
lot of
frankly.
damage coming out. These
You know,
heroes
you
are
said
half
that the power
HP for
room's
Liquid,
pretty
and then you get a
important in this
3-man
matchup
Sonic
of
Wave into
Quap
that
versus,
Timbersaw
Storm
burst.
Spirit, and that's one part of
That's
the
just
Liquid
juice
being able to
for
control
Miro.
the map right now, right? They're getting every single power rune for a Storm Spirit. That just feels like it's impossible to team fight. It's even harder for BB team. So I respect the fact they smoke out just to get out on the map, because you really can't take this 5-on-5 next to your tier 2. That tier 2's now gone.
It's expensive though. I mean, these smokes are not free. You're gonna be missing them in the mid game. Wisdom Rune would be super nice here.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup. But
need something here if you're these supports.
You can steal the Wisdom Rune. What you cannot steal is their Tormentor. So Liquid will take your Tormentor and eventually go back and do their own.
Okay, but to be fair, you know, BB team hasn't had the best history with tournaments, so that might have been good for them.
That's true. That's true.
That saved-
I mean,
saved
Toronto
them a few
Tokyo
deaths.
is certainly in a happier space if they're not doing Torment.
I mean, that Liquid stealing BB team's Tormentor is basically an Aegis for Toronto. Maybe kind of the dream
Gave him an extra
fight
life.
for BB team in some ways. Like you're going on their tankiest hero who survives, and then sure you get to kill this egg,
GPK.
but there's a lot of damage
okay.
coming
That
out.
might have been a
These
solo
heroes are
kill.
half HP for
Yes.
Liquid,
It
and
would've
then
been
you get a
close.
3-man
And
Sonic Wave.
GPK is still saving up gold. I think he's debating whether he wants something more offensive here or defensive. You
I
know,
feel like you gotta go BKB.
he's debating. He was thinking about Kaya for some more damage. Now he's thinking about BKB. He has 4K gold. He's thinking about Ags now. I don't think this co-op.
Ags.
I mean, I honestly
Maybe
don't think this
kind of the
co-op fight is
dream
super obvious.
fight for BB
Like,
team
it
in
is
some
not-
ways. Like you're
it's
going on their
extremely
tankiest
pivotal
hero
in this game.
who
Maybe the most
survives,
important
and
item
then
coming
sure
up
you get
here.
to kill this egg.
He's gonna buy out.
But
the
there's a lot of
Ags. This
damage
is
coming
a
out.
more aggressive
These heroes are
choice.
half HP for
And the one
Liquid,
that will
and then
pay
you get a
off
3-man
more over
Sonic
the
Wave
long
into
run.
that Timbersaw burst.
Yeah.
But if you get
That's just
jumped
juice
orchided,
for Miro here.
you are dead in the water right there.
Fantastic
Nothing to bail you
routing
out right
from
now,
me.
except, you know, fire spirits coming through, stun coming through, that type of thing. Oh, this is a huge grab.
Great pickup from Save. They saw some heroes. Toronto Tokyo made the space in the bottom part of the map, right? They were chasing after that Phoenix. They saw 2 heroes there. BB team said, now's our time to be able to strike, make use of these Blink Dagger initiations, and they found the perfect mark for it too. Nisha's Storm Spirit.
Save had a very rough game, but that is a big smoke play into the exact grab they were looking for while Liquid are trying to do Roche. So now let's get stalled up a bit, because ideally you want this Aegis on the Storm. I think they're going to commit for this no matter what, because, I mean, that last was on cooldown. They committed DKL. There's no contest here. But I think this would have happened regardless of that Storm death.
True.
And now it just gives BB team more time to farm the map. This is going to swing that net worth deficit by a couple K here. And they had the BKB on the Dragon Knight to back that move up. They're going to push towards the BKB on the Timbersaw. And this Ag's done on the Queen of Pain, pushing towards BKB as well. So maybe BKB has not been the best it's been in some of these recent patches, but you're going to have 3 of them on the side of BB.
We'll see whether or not GPK can get to that BKB uncontested.
And I think Orchid for Nightfall here is going to be a big turning point in this game. Like, if you can't get the defensive items up on the Storm and the Weaver, it gives you an extra catch tool. Heads up play by Save. That's a lot of space.
That's twice now that the supports on BB team have made space in the side lanes and not been caught in the process.
I mean, they're clawing their way back in this game. It's not been pretty for them, but they're not in the worst position, all things considered. And now the onus is kind of on Liquid to, you know, what do you do with this Aegis period?
Maybe kind of the dream
out the map
fight
and
for
continue
BB
to
team in
farm?
some ways. Like you're going on their
Push, I don't
tankiest
think you
hero
push with it.
who
It looks
survives, and then
disastrous.
sure you get
Yeah,
to
it
kill this
doesn't
egg.
look
So,
But there's a lot of damage coming out.
They're kind of
These
suffering
heroes
from
are
their
half
own
HP for
success
Liquid,
because
and then
they've
you get a
already
3-man
taken
Sonic
so many
Wave
of
into
these
that
towers. It's
Timbersaw
like,
burst.
okay, what's left? A
That's
tier 2
just
at top
juice
and then
for
tier
Miro
3s.
here.
Like, I don't think you're going high ground this early.
Fantastic
routing from me.
Maybe kind of the dream fight for BB team in some ways. Like you're going on their tankiest hero who survives, and then sure you get to kill this
I
egg.
don't want to fight with this.
But
And
there's a lot of
not
damage
left
coming
to
out.
fight
These heroes are
other
half
than
HP for Liquid, and then you get a 3-man
high
Sonic
ground,
Wave
and
into
that
that
seems
Timbersaw
incredibly
burst.
spooky.
That's just juice
This is
for Miro here.
a dangerous point for BB team.
Fantastic
routing
from me.
Maybe kind of the dream
point where
fight for
Liquid can
BB
actually
team in
make
some
use
ways.
of
Like you're
this
going on their
Aegis to
tankiest
potentially
hero
catch BB
who
team.
survives,
The
and
catch
then
would
sure
be
you get to
the
kill this
ideal.
egg.
Like, if you can find
But
someone
there's
on
a
the
lot of
side lane
damage
with
coming
this
out.
Orchid,
These
lock
heroes are
them
half
down,
HP
bring
for
the
Liquid,
others
and then you get a
forward. They
3-man
would
Sonic
really
Wave
love
into
to
that
pick up
Timbersaw
GPK here,
burst.
And they TP top looking for him.
That's
He's already
just
out.
juice
Yep,
for Miro
the Weaver
here.
showed on this ward that they've
Fantastic
got deeper in the
routing
jungle.
from me.
Need deeper lane wards here if you're Liquid. I think that's the key that's missing. You have this one lane ward top,
Maybe
but
kind of the dream
your other
fight
ones
for
on that
BB
outpost
team in
bottom
some ways. Like you're going on their
selling
tankiest
Roche,
hero
and
who survives,
ideally in this type
and
of
then
map,
sure you get to
want
kill this
what's near
egg.
the tier 2
But there's a
top.
lot of damage coming
Near
out.
this
These heroes are
base
half
bottom,
HP
you
for
can see
Liquid,
where
and then
BT
you get a
are going
3-man
to set up
Sonic
for
Wave
them
into that
preemptively, 'cause
Timbersaw
right now the
burst.
catch is proving a
That's
little
just
difficult.
juice for Miro here.
You can't start making that rotation once they show on the
Fantastic
creep
routing
wave. BB
from
team,
me.
Maybe kind
they
of the
know,
dream
like, once they show on
fight
the
for
creep wave,
BB
the
team in
timer's
some
already
ways. Like you're
started,
going on
they're
their
gonna kill that
tankiest
wave and
hero
get out.
who survives, and
They're
then
playing
sure you get to
cat
kill
and
this
mouse right
egg.
now.
But there's a lot
Giving
of
up a
damage
little
coming
gold
out.
lead, but
These heroes are half HP for Liquid, and then you get a 3-man Sonic Wave into that Timbersaw burst.
Their cores are not too sad.
That's just juice
and
for
this game
Miro
could
here.
come down to which team's
Fantastic
3 cores
routing
can
from
stand in
me.
that fight more. Like maybe you land some good black hole here, but these heroes are tanky. There's some sustain with Sunray, Fire Spirits. Find a quick little Phoenix kill.
Finally get something.
Heads up Snowball. Maybe kind of the dream fight for BB Team in some way. It's like going to open up some sort of push or jump. Get the last tier 2. Gem on Insania will continue to control a lot of the map here.
Yeah, it's a good idea. But again, the BB Team vision was so deep that he's not going to see a lot of these wards that are actually out on the map.
They're going to go for the high ground push. This is a scary push into the Batrider lasso. Into a Phoenix Egg that you could, in theory, defend pretty well on this high ground.
Can save, get the initiation. Can Liquid counter it?
I honestly don't think Liquid want to fight this. I think they are way more interested in bringing BB Team back to their base.
Which they did do. All 5 heroes came back.
That's what's valuable here. Because now you get to farm the map and there's no pesky Quap deep on your side lane.
Yeah.
Evening out the net worth gain. You're going to get to build advantage off this. Get another power room for Nisha. Maybe deward some of these deep obs and set up somewhere else. Smoke from BB Team. Looks like they want to make a play. Are still looking for that Queen of Pain BKB, but they have a shield rune on GPK right now, which kind of makes up for it. Might just be happy with farming out the last minute on this Aegis as well.
Yeah.
Like, why take the fight into 2 Storm lives when you can take it into 1? And he doesn't have that defensive item yet. You know, Nisha, he recovered a lot of his game, but he's not ultra wealthy or anything. And he's still susceptible to getting Lasso, DK Stun, Orchided, which is the big threat. You're going to look towards that Snowball save to bail him out at that point, which could come in through the Tusk, but there is no blink on Boxy. You went for Solar Crest. So you have to think about how deep you go in with this Storm Spirit versus where your bailout actually is in the fight.
They're making this move without Nisha. Gonna try and take this Wisdom Rune. Mickey opens up on Saika. But the lasso comes through, grabs the Weaver, turning it around, but they're not going to be able to burst down this Weaver, not very quickly. Maybe with the Orchid, a Force Staff gets a little bit farther away, but I don't think it's enough damage. Miro, yeah, he managed to get off his ultimate. Mickey's back up, pretty full, pretty healthy. Insania throwing some damage back at GPK, but they do start backing away. So does BB Team. They respect the fact that Storm Spirit could come in. The Aegis is expiring as well, so we was about to get that big boost in mana regen. Speaking of a boost in mana regen, regeneration for Storm Spirit in the bottle now.
And closing in on the Lincolns, it will make his ability to be more aggressive a lot easier in exchanges like that. Daedalus going to up the damage here for Mickey. Still susceptible himself, but fairly tanky for now.
Yeah, we saw that last one. With the Daedalus and his level 20 talent, he does big burst damage.
It's a lot more.
They complete that Lincolns for the Storm Spirit, and I feel like your item timings are all hitting, but are you going to do anything with it?
You don't
with
have
like second Roshan around, you know?
It's awkward. I think you're waiting for next Rosh here, looking for pickoffs on the map, continuing to control the power runes.
Is it bad for either team going late here? Do you have a preference?
It's really hard to say. I think I would favor BB Team a little bit just because you went this aura build-up on the Enigma.
Yeah, sure.
But it really comes down to like the item execution, the saves from things like the Tusk and the Sunray. Who gets the jump is a big factor as well.
Sure.
These BB Team supports are still very susceptible as...
Little bit of a hiccup here is... Uh-oh. Got kicked out of the game. So did we on our PCs as well. So hopefully the game is paused at least. We'll be able to get back into things here pretty shortly. But it does look like a game that, because the high ground is so hard to get into, and yep, it is paused. No worries, everybody. You're not missing out on any action right now. So don't worry, you're not missing any action, and we'll get back into the game very shortly here, as both us as well as the players did have a bit of a problem here. So no worries on that regard. But looking at late game situation, you were saying?
Yeah, I favor BB a little. I just think the late game Queen of Pain it's tough to crack. Like you have
really believe in that.
I do, man.
You've got an Enigma on the other side.
Listen, Austin,
with no saves.
I have played enough pubs to know that every time I see Queen of Pain, it's a coin flip, man. It's a coin flip.
Okay.
And most of the times I'm losing that coin flip. But in like 1 out of 10 of those coin flips, which is about how many I win. You can figure that math out later. In one of those 10, the queen goes ham and she gets the 5 or 6 slots and she's untouchable. God among men.
Okay. So you think GPK is going to become that god among men?
Or he will lose horribly in the next 3 minutes here, and you'll flip the coin. If you feeling lucky
You
today,
need to talk to Bulk. You need some of that confidence, man. Damn.
it's not a GPK issue. It's a game issue, you know?
Okay,
This is the precarious point for him. So he needs to get to like the next, 1 or 2 items here. I will also say this game paused at a very interesting point of these teams getting very close to each other, and I don't know if either one knows the either is
Oh,
there.
yeah. The Timbersaw is above them, and the rest of the team...
But I think everybody's in fog relative to each other. So this is
Yes.
interesting. I don't know what will happen out of this, but...
Like, Liquid are playing under their
vision.
vision. Miro is playing under his vision. So is the rest of his team, actually. They're playing under a different ward.
Classic BB team.
Don't fight, go. Are they serious?
I cannot tell you how many times I've seen GPK say go while one of his teammates is still disconnected.
Dude, that is
it's actually up here. It's a classic.
This man just doesn't care. He just wants to get into the game. Doesn't care if it's a 4 versus 5. I mean, that's what happens when you get that high of MMR, right? You have to win some games 4 versus 5.
BB team posing some question marks here. Of course, Liquid probably have them all muted.
I was about to say, everybody probably has everybody muted, so they're probably telling each other to go, and nobody actually knows that they've said anything.
All right, but no damage done. We're all in the clear here.
And no fight either.
See what BB team decide to do out of this, because they do have that Timber BKB. You're closing in on your Queen BKB. You're 100 gold off here, and that would complete your trifecta.
Is that I saw Bloodthorn being completed, right?
Yep, Nightfall.
That is a massive damage boost for BB team.
He's level 18 as well, so he's kind of hitting his power spike.
Yeah.
Talked about the Weavers as well here. A lot of damage coming out from these 2 carries. If you can sit there and deliver it, that's the big question. Where does the lockdown come from? Can you land a big shards or black hole connection for Liquid, or where the storm jump comes through relative to the bat lasso and the DK stun?
Yeah, I mean, Mickey has no defensive items, really. He's got Hurricane Pike. He is depending heavily either on his own play and not getting caught by that Bloodthorn, or the save coming out from boxing. One or the other.
Yeah, there's only 3 mechanisms. Hurricane Pike yourself out, get snowballed, or Nisha throws a clutch Lincoln zone.
Yeah.
Or BB team just overcommit on you trying to burst you, and you can bail them out with, like the ores from Enigma and drop a black hole.
Sure.
And just zone control. So there is some stuff he can play around. But ultimately, yeah, if the Weaver gets jumped and pulled into the side of BB team, the fight's over. Like, that's it. He's gone.
Nisha bullying BB team's position on the map right now. Has a gem on him and a Lincoln's. So he's moving around, clearing out vision that BB team worked so hard to get out on the map and to place in the first place. They do manage to get a Tormentor, but with them all going back to the fountain, this pretty much guarantees no map control for them.
Triple BKB online right now. 33 did finish up that Crimson. Triple Aura online for Liquid, looking towards the next Roche. So taking a fight during this interval would be a little risky in terms of your map control and looking towards the biggest objective.
Trying to bait out an illusion. Showing it with some other heroes.
I mean, you can see Liquid, they want to fight, but there's no logic in pushing that fight into BB team's base right now.
Yeah. I mean, fighting
have to be
into
patient.
Lasso Supernova is so difficult.
Yep.
Black Hole is not going to do that much for you if it's underneath a Supernova.
Absolutely not. And there's that Bloodthorn flying out on the Courier. Finished here.
Big pickup.
Ursaika, though, his DK form is going to run out in the next 30 seconds. So you're smoking into a decaying DK form. A little bit awkward, but again, I think maybe most of the fight comes down to the jump from the Lasso and the DK connecting on a core target.
If you were to find something right now, it would be fine. The Dragon form would stay up, but they're just not going to. It's like Mickey's making his way back.
That's one of those 50-50 Sakuchis. Like, do you go down and die, or do you go up and not die?
Well, he chose correctly.
10 seconds for Roche. I mean, Liquid definitely still have a map advantage and a lane advantage in terms of securing information.
Yeah, look at that push that's coming in top lane. Somebody's got to deal with this Eidolon shove.
Yeah, Insania's continued to be a menace with these creeps, and the Eidolons continue to push in mid. So, again, if Liquid want to play this very patient, they can. They can just kind of wait force BB Team into them with the extra map control and lane pressure they have, wait till somebody shows, and then play off that information. I think that's the best route here, instead of just smoking aggressively blind. Like, there's a lot that can go wrong with that. Though you did pick up the Weaver BKB. Gives you a lot more security here in the team fight, and BB Team do not know about this. So if they try and all commit on Mickey here and it goes bad,
Toronto Tokyo would be a good target to be able to burst down quickly, but he's got a Eul's. Can they get him? Miro's going to jump forward. Looks like Toronto Tokyo is good for it. He gets off the Supernova, but Liquid is already backed away. Outside of the range, will not be caught in this. And now, Nisha can try and jump back in. They go back to Toronto Tokyo, deal with him, while the rest of BB Team, wounded from the engagement, have to just give up this area. The bugs go out, trying to search for more.
this is a tough fight, man. You don't have Timber, BKB, you have no Phoenix at all. They're going to hide for now.
Yeah, they have to TP back. It's
too hard, man.
As crazy as that positioning is and how you maybe could have gotten behind Liquid, there's just no way to take that 4 versus 5.
I mean, honestly, that idea of baiting the Phoenix, he can bail himself out with Eul's before the burst comes through. It's not the worst idea to get Liquid to commit, but the lack of lockdown is just...
Oh, yeah.
It is so destroying you. You cannot keep a hero around you for anything unless that DK stun lands, and...
Toronto Tokyo pulled the trigger on that Supernova pretty quickly.
I mean, yeah, he has to. He has to. Like, once you're committed in there after the Eul's, you risk just getting bursted off a random Weaver hit or a Storm jumping you or something. And
sure.
I don't blame him for that, but you have like one stun to make that play work. It's just so difficult. And I mean, Liquid played it well. Like, they do not commit in here. They just, again, kite it out, wait for their moment. And now they get an Aegis onto the Weaver this time. So this could be a high ground mechanism. Give 2 lives on the Weaver, BKB for the second. Force BB Team to commit some spells into this carry that is dealing a lot of damage right now.
Yeah, speaking on that, I mean, we talked about how BB Team could turn this game around off of a triple BKB timing. They haven't done that. And now Liquid is looking at their own BKB timing. Mickey already had his, but now Nisha is getting his with the Lincolns and a BKB and already limited lockdown.
Untouchable, man. He is going to be a problem. Maybe you just are looking to outlast this if you're BB Team, but your supports are so squishy and so susceptible. I have a hard time imagining you get away from the fight with the Weaver and the Storm Chase. Like, I don't think you can make the same play Liquid did. I don't think you can go and bait BKBs from Liquid and get out. They're going to force the high ground. Aegis on the Weaver. I mean, you could lasso him in. Just try and burn the first life. See what save opts for here.
But if you don't manage to burst him down, he just BKB time lapses, and then there goes one of your only stuns. Oh!
That is a brutal percentage.
Oh, he goes for it. Save doesn't get the initiation and dies in half a second. He reached for it. And he gets burned in the process. A quick buyback from him makes things even worse for BB Team. As Liquid, there's no rush. They've got 3 minutes left on this Aegis timing. Another power rune to pick up, and this one's an arcane rune.
Quick smoke from BB Team, though. Really looking to punish somebody who's just, you know, relaxed here on a random lane.
Well, they did this before. In game 1, they caught 33, separating from his team off of this kind of play, and they've got him.
No save.
Boxy couldn't get there in time, and now he's going to die for it as well.
They do get the D-ward on the cliff, but the damage has been done.
Miro's looking, seeing if they can find anybody else off of the next Dragon Tail stun.
Yeah, I mean...
Slippery heroes, though.
You've got 2 jumps in this lineup. They used both.
Yeah.
We're done here, you know? In fact, you have to think about Liquid jumping you because...
Yeah, it's exactly what they're going to do. Jump Miro and burst him down fast.
Arcane Rune's going to power up this Storm. Have to respect the single target burst coming out right now.
Oh, Toronto Tokyo! Eul's! He's gonna have to Supernova right away. They may still be able to focus it down. BB Team can do nothing to stop it. No disables to be able to throw out. A Sonic Wave hits on 3. Not too bad. Mickey's gonna Shikuchi back, leaving Insania behind. Throw some damage back out on a save. Fearful for his life off of some dangerous crits. Back to the fountain he goes. Liquid, Nisha, and Mickey are still the untouchable cores. Everybody else can die, but not those two.
I think it's the closest Nisha's come to dying in this game.
Sure.
Enemy base without mana. But, I mean, you just can't buy a stun at this point. I say that, I mean, you can. It's Dota, so you could buy Hex.
That's true.
And it feels like they need one really bad.
Yeah, who's
Cure
going to
these
do
extra
that
kills.
for them, though?
I mean,
Timbersaw is trying.
I mean, Queen of Pain, right? It has to be GPK. I guess you could get it on Timber. I just don't know how much farm priority he's going to get at this point.
I mean, at this point, I think it's one of those just like both of you try for it. Whoever gets it first, fantastic.
Yeah, you need him here. Because like we saw, you use your 2 stuns and you can't even take over any of the map. It's like, you know, nice gank, haha. You still have to sit in your base.
Yep.
It will slow down this Aegis push. Aegis is going to expire here in 50 seconds, so...
And we are pushing the game later with every single Roshan. Like, yeah, Liquid gets it, but they haven't broken high ground yet, and you said you did favor BB Team going late. Blightmare. See if they can pick up Miro here. Yules in the middle of it, pops his BKB, and they got the lasso, pulling back the Enigma. Once again, they target 33. They had to use a lot for it, just like last time. Yeah, they killed the Enigma, but they can't push for more. They can kill the easy heroes, but what about the big dogs?
No Aegis high ground, though. Didn't lose a Rax during this period. That is valuable.
Yeah.
Save finding an opening. Saw the Lincolns thrown out here. There's another Lincoln's on this Weaver. You really have to think about these 2 spheres blocking that lasso when you go in on these single target jumps. Gemma on line for BB Team as well, and Nightfall pushing towards that Daedalus. It's Liquid going to be trying to cross the map. They had this ward bottom. This is the type of ward that you want at this point in the game. It scouted everything from BB Team. Liquid.
They got their own lane ward that could spot Liquid as they come through. Save, though. He's the one that had the gem, too.
Got to get out now. Just got to concede more map control here, and Liquid will take it over. Yep, gem on the ground. Didn't get recovered. They're trying to send couriers for it.
All the couriers lining out to try and go out the base, but
none of them want to take it. Gonna send one around the long way bottom. They might actually recover this gem. Liquid just didn't see it. That is the dieback timer on the bat. He's out for a long time, so I think Liquid are going to try and take advantage of this.
Yeah. I mean, you said you only got 2 stuns. Well, one of them's dead, and nice use of the banner there. Stopping the Sonic Wave from killing the creep wave. They'll finish up this lane of Barracks, no problem. Mickey's going to push for more. They want 2 out of this. 30 seconds left until the Batrider can start this engagement for them. BB Team, it's either 2 lanes or try and make a fight happen with just a Dragon Tail.
You can't.
Fight's gonna come to them. They do need to get the Storms here, but there's the snowball save. And now when they come back from that, there's nothing left from BB Team. Nisha, in fact, is gonna go back into it. Another Sonic Wave goes out, doesn't hit a thing.
They are low cooldown. 30 seconds for the next one.
Yeah, 30 seconds for Mickey to hit buildings.
Oh, BKB Enigma, that is going to change the teamfight impact here a lot if BB Team commit in deep.
Another tight end trying to break through that link. It's not good enough. They're turning around and Save's dead. Nisha with his own BKB stands fearlessly underneath the Supernova. A small zip away and Liquid back into it. There is nothing left on the side of BB Team at this point. No Supernova, no lasso to be able to use. Once again, BB Team struggled to be able to find a way to control Liquid. Maybe they do have some damage coming out from this Psycha Dragon Knight. But if you can't lock down a hero, and they're zip-zapping all over the place. Pushing out, Psycha tries it, doesn't get it. Now he's in trouble. Block hole used to lock down Psycha and catches Miro in the midst of it as well. Buyback's gonna be put to use, but without a carry, now your damage is out the window. You had no disable, now you've got no damage. Liquid are looking good to be able to take Megas. It might just force out a GG if they want to stick around for it.
I mean, one more lasso from Save. He's going to take the Ench.
Oh, and Enchantress is what you get? You can't even get that with a snowball save coming out from Boxy. It's the clearest read of his life. They've only got one play. It's Lasso. He sees it coming a mile away and had the saves to get Liquid over the finish line. Liquid will bring down BB Team once again.
I will say, I think that was a closer series than a lot of people imagined. I mean, Liquid did get tested there, but overall, this game 3 was the most convincing. I think they really just slowed down, played patient, controlled the map. They didn't force any really bad fights that game. You know, maybe you have a couple deaths here or there, but they just gave BB Team no openings. And I think the biggest change from the game 1 and 2 to that game 3 was the early game. Like, the support duo from Liquid got a lot more done in this game 3 compared to BB Team and really shut down Save. He just got nothing done in the first 20 minutes, and his game was ultra slow as a result, and it just cost him so much down the line.
Yep, it certainly did. And as a result, Liquid are going to the upper bracket. We'll see BB Team in the lower bracket.
That we will, and we're going to talk about this game number 3 a little bit more because they were tested in this series. Avery put it perfectly there. There was a lot of back and forth. I would describe it personally for you as erratic, but you said maybe to the untrained eye, that's what it would be. So break it down for me, please.
I mean, I think in general, this game was like really Liquid knowing exactly what they need to be doing on the map. It all started from like the laning stage as well. We went for a max Shadow Strike build on GPK, which we don't see very often here. And I think Jenkins was talking to me about how the build now is you get the early boots, how you have to go to the jungle. BB Team even responded to that. They knew what was going on there. And then shortly after, they went to the enemy jungle, stole the stacks. They just kind of like took up shop there. Mickey had a completely free game. And ever since that moment, this area on the map they played, they didn't stop coming here. It was like 30 minutes just running to this mid lane to fight Black Holes down. They don't really care. They're just buying auras on 33 because 33 knows this game is all about fighting. They don't want to give him any room to breathe. So just buy the auras, doesn't go for the Blink BKB build, and just like continuously apply the pressure. And that was Liquid's strategy. And this is how they like to play fast and shut down teams like BB Team that it can be a bit more greedy.
Have you guys seen that meme where you have the graph and it's like a C? It's like a sine wave.
Okay, yeah.
And on the one side you have Herald, and then in the middle you have like Legend, and then at the bottom again you have.
You're talking about a bell curve.
The bell curve, right? Normal distribution, if you will. This game is one of those ones that was so high level that it looked like a Herald match because you just have both teams 5-man running mid for like 30 minutes into the game.
Maybe to the untrained eye.
To the untrained eye. Because here's the thing. Like, BB Team, they would use Lasso, they would pick 33 off, or they would pick somebody off mid, and then Liquid would not have Black Hole because they would use it in the last fight, and they'd be like, okay, well, there's no Lasso, we have all these auras, we have the advantage, let's just run and take their towers. And then time would pass, Save would respawn, he'd have Lasso up, they'd get a kill on 33, Liquid would back off a little bit, 33 would respawn, and then all of a sudden it's the exact same thing again for 25 minutes. But it's because Liquid realized that as long as they execute the fights well, as long as they're pressing their buttons well, as long as they're staying together, backing off together, doing these like small backs instead of big backs, that they could stay right in front of BB Team's base. And this is one of those things where like, this is what Blitz means when he says his team is the fastest team in the world, and why he believes that. Because even though this game lasted a very long time, I could feel the pressure. Like, I could feel the pressure watching this game. I can only imagine.
It came through in the gameplay from both teams.
Yeah, from both teams. And BB Team did a decent job at responding to it. Like, there's so many levels to this game.
Yeah.
And I think Fear covered it perfectly with the early, like, Storm rotation, knowing that he has to go back to base with the boots. And then all of the supports also knowing that, whether it's a call from the mid laners or from the supports just also knowing the matchup of Quap versus Storm. It's extremely high level and extremely fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Mickey going 14-0, phenomenal performance from him. What's your take on it, Winter? I know that Jenkins and Fear covered a lot from it, but maybe something for BB Team. They were able to hold that high ground for a long time. I mean, they're the reason why this game dragged out for as long as it did.
Yeah, but I still want to go back like to the root cause of the problem, why they were losing like the early game. I felt like I always bring up, the support duo, whether they work well with each other. Like, this game, it clearly showed that in the early game, the Enchantress and Tusk, they were able to do a lot more. Whereas you compare it to the Bat Rider and Phoenix, they had an okay start where they were pressuring the Storm, but after that, both of them kind of needed to farm. And Bat Rider had like very little room to get his dagger, and he got a very late dagger, like, around 20 minutes. And Phoenix was the one like staying in the lane, taking the farm, the dangerous farm, because he could, right? As a Phoenix, that's what you usually want to do. But Bat Rider also needed a farm, so they kind of were in a position where they couldn't get enough gold for both supports, and they got bullied by the Enchantress and Tusk throughout the map. That's why you saw the Tusk Enchantress, they were just living in their side of the map, taking all the jungle.
Yeah. Well, it was great play from the Liquid supports and the Liquid team in general there. And because they did win here, it means we've got Nomad standing by with one of their players to ask them about this win and being in the upper bracket.
indeed, I am here with Mickey, and we're going to be chatting about that game. I mean, that whole series was pretty phenomenal, and your series yesterday versus Spirit also very entertaining. Are you guys going to just have exciting series the whole way?
Yeah, why not? You know, it's the Team Liquid way. You know, usually this is the lower bracket, but we'll take it.
So BB, you know, they kind of took you by surprise. I feel like, you know, they played a lot faster than maybe you were expecting. Do you feel that way as well?
Yeah, usually when we play them, they're kind of slow and more methodical, I guess. And this time they were like just running at us, and it definitely caught us by surprise. So, yeah.
Well, you adjusted really well to it, obviously. Do you feel like you learned anything about your own game, or, you know, did anything change in your ideas from this series?
We always improve each series, so I would say we learned a lot draft-wise this series, and what we look to change, and I have to ask William Blitz, so I don't know. Easy games.
Easy games. Well, you're a bit of a Luna expert. I mean, both your Luna and your Weaver performances were excellent, but particularly like your Luna, you know, you really popped off. What is it about that hero which, you know, makes it a good Luna game?
Do I want to reveal strategies? No, but it was a good Luna game, and the lane should go better in our favor, but I think it's pretty good against Timber, so that's why we picked it.
Fair enough. And then even after, you know, your loss in game 2, you're still smiling, you're still happy in the booth, as you guys always are. You know, do you think that's a secret of why you're so good at coming back and why you're so kind of tenacious as a team?
Yeah, it plays a part for sure. I mean, we always try to keep the vibes up because, you know, we always play better when the vibes are good and everything is just, yeah, just nice, I guess. We learned that from Zai. Thank you, Zai.
All right. Mickey, thank you very much. Congratulations on your win. Excited to see you guys play again. And yeah, good vibes over here. Back to you, Nat.
Oh, we got some good vibes as well going on here, right, guys?
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, no, I just let him answer.
Yeah. Fear is all they're answering for, you guys.
Positive guy.
Look, Liquid are going to be in high spirits at the moment. You know, they get to go into that upper bracket. They're only one best of 3 away from making it to that main stage, to be going to the main event of the international. Whereas BB team, now you got to readjust and reevaluate. We were able to get a game. You couldn't close out the series. And now you're looking down in that lower bracket. There's going to be a big battle for you. And I also want to see how their drafts, their priorities for their heroes are potentially going to shift up, because this Batrider, it came out, did great in game number 2. They wanted to first pick it for game number 3, but it wasn't able to have the same sort of effect, Winter.
Yeah, I feel like going back to my point just now about the combination of the Bat plus the Phoenix, they both were picked because of their lane, the opponent's lane. They wanted to counter what the opponent's heroes were going to do. The Phoenix for the Tusk and the Batrider against the Enchantress, but they failed to consider that these 2 heroes are very greedy together. So it's going to put you at a weak spot in the early game where you can't really fight the Enchantress and Tusk, you know. Even though you're going to be okay in the lane, but what's the plan, you know, in the mid game?
Right, if you're playing against a weaker team, then maybe you're fine, because this point where the Bat is like farming the Blink Dagger, Phoenix is also farming that first item. Like, neither of these heroes have really convenient ways to stun and kill people before Bat gets the Blink. Like, maybe against a worse team, the enemy supports don't recognize that and they don't pressure you during that time. But against Liquid, you got to do better.
It's not that I don't trust you both on your viewpoint of this. I just want to bring in another opinion. So let's see exactly what Purge has to say about this Batrider and its difference between game 2 and 3.
A much sadder game than game 2, because Save did get to play this hero in game 2 and game 3. And I think one of the most crucial things about this match was, I mean, the support matchups were supposedly good, but the Batrider versus core matchups, way worse. Killing the Weaver is very difficult. Killing the Storm Spirit is very difficult. So Save, in the first game, he hit level 6 at about 8.5 minutes. In this game, 14 minutes took him to hit 6. This is one of the reasons why this Wisdom Rune got destroyed by Insania sending a creep over there. So what Save basically did was spend most of his time just stacking camps, stacking Ancients, things like that. And when he did try to help in the side lanes, it just didn't really go that great. He didn't get a kill. He just helped a little bit, gets zoned. And ultimately, Liquid moves over. They take all these stacks, all these large camps. That was really frustrating for him to deal with. So what did he do? He went back and he stacked more. This is at the 10-minute mark, cleaning those up, trying to actually do something for his team. And ultimately, the same thing kind of happened. He anticipated a gank was coming in the area. He went to a defensive position. He sat under this tower, and eventually the smoke breaks. He ends up dying, and then they just cleared all of his Ancients. So all this experience he was supposed to get back from these stacks being cleared also didn't happen, which is why his level 6 became such a late affair, and that hurt Phoenix as well. They were just so far behind in experience. He did basically nothing for for about 6 to 7 minutes there. Really rough for him.
I appreciate the visual cues there. Looking how many, I mean, first of all, I'm impressed that you can get that many stacks in a camp.
I blame my team in that scenario.
Of course you do.
All of these
when don't you? What scenario don't you blame your team?
Spend the whole game putting stacks, and it's like, where the hell are these guys taking the stacks? Like, oh, my lane is free farm. It's like, okay, dude, I'm just going to sit here and defend it myself at this point. That's what he did. That was a passive-aggressive standing on the ward
Was it your team's fault that your wisdom got denied as well?
No, that's his fault.
Okay.
That's his fault. You got to be there quick.
You got to be there on time.
He didn't respect the Insania Enchantress. He saw the Ench in lane. He's like, oh, he's not going for it. Well, the Ogre was.
Disrespect, actually.
Yeah, that was disrespect.
In that game number 3, Liquid were able to have that one up. They do continue in the upper bracket, but we're only halfway through our day. There is so much more Dota to happen here in our road to the International. We're going to have a sit down with Pyrion and Respect, and when you guys come back, it'll be 2 new teams, a whole new best of 3, and also a new panel.
Hello, I'm here with Respect, and I'd like to ask, first of all, how are you doing?
Great.
Yeah? Everything cool? Feeling
So
happy?
far, yeah. Excellent.
And talk to me about the boot camp you guys had before this tournament. How was that for you?
It was pretty basic. We prepared for the international.
And what did you guys do? Was it mainly scrims or pub games or watching replays? What was the focus for you?
Scrims, of course, and watching them and watching other teams play. We played 2 tournaments, online tournaments before the TI, like the practice tournaments.
So tell me about your life before Dota, what kind of stuff you were into, and then how you got into Dota.
So my first game was in Warcraft 3. I played as Naga, as I remember. I didn't know anything. It was probably 2011.
So how old were you then?
11.
11?
Yeah, I was 11 years old. And after some games, I just forgot about the Dota, played custom games in Warcraft 3. But I don't know how, but I ended up in Dota again, Dota 1. I played a bit, started to realize some things, and I liked it very much. And when the Dota 2 came out, I was like in shock. I wanted the key so bad, and my first game in Dota 2 was Wind Ranger, as I remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you think at that point, this is what I want to do? Or were you just, because you're still very young, were you just playing for fun and then...
Playing for fun,
yeah,
mostly. But when I got to the high MMRs, like at the time 2015, 16, 5K, 6K MMRs was a lot at the moment. I started to realize that I can maybe become a pro player.
So you're a position 5 player. Which of those new heroes has been a bigger challenge for you to learn? Because I know some of the supports are saying, I don't want to have to play Naga Siren and Tinker.
Yeah. There was the times when we first met with my teammates. Chen was not in my pool.
Okay.
It was tough for me to to play Chen good, and I struggled a lot. But now I thought that Naga was a very difficult hero, but it's not. It's
Really?
not really, yeah. It's a hero after like 2-3 games you understand the whole thing about the Naga post 5.
But the role of position 5 now, everybody needs these position 5s that scale later and get better and everything like that. It seems like in the old days, it used to just be Lich and it would be Crystal Maiden and stuff like that. Why has it changed so much?
I think probably because the map became huge. Like you can have all of the farm for all of your 5 heroes. So I think the main thing is the map changes.
The map changes.
Yeah.
Are there any other pro players in the tournament that you've sort of watched over the years and now you're going to get to play against them potentially?
Probably Miposhka and Snaking. That's the 2 people I watched a lot when I learned to be good post 5.
Yeah, that's, I mean, 2 great players to watch for sure. All right, so this is a bit of a weird question, but if you could make one big change to Dota, what was the one big thing that you would change about Dota?
Tough question. It's not in-game change, but I would bring back Battle Pass.
Okay, I think that'll be
The
quite
true
a popular
Battle
answer.
Pass.
The true Battle Pass. Okay. All right, I'm going to ask you to give me your opinion on the other teams in your group, because this is ahead of the group. So just tell me what you expect, what you think of these teams, okay? So first up, Game and Gladiators.
Probably the best team in our group. They play fast. They want to crush their enemies like in 20, 30 minutes.
What about Heroic?
Heroic, we played a lot against Heroic. We win, we lose, like average team.
Average.
Nothing I can say much.
Okay. What about Extreme?
I think they're a little below Gaming Gladiators, that's my point of view, but they are strong too. Sync U is very good player, like very good.
Fair enough. And just finally, if you could sum up your feelings about your team's season up to this point, this last year, how it's been, how would you sum it up?
Stairway to success.
Stairway to success.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love that. All right, brilliant. Respect. Thank you so much for taking
Thank
the time
you.
to talk to us. All the best.
Thank you.
I am here with No One, or Noon, as it should be pronounced. Is that right?
Kind of.
Okay.
Up to like people.
In the English
I mean, for
speaking,
English
we tend
people,
to
it's
say
no one, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I prefer no one.
You prefer No One.
It sounds better.
Where'd your name come from, by the way?
I mean, there's like, I just steal it, honestly. I just
stole
steal
it?
Yeah, from I was playing World of Warcraft like since I was 8 until like 13, and there was like, it was not like a pretty famous player in public, but like I just saw some clips of him playing, like you know, like with 30 FPS gameplay, like he just for 100 viewers. I like the nickname basically.
So first of all, your preparation, like all the teams have talked to us about their boot camp. All the teams seem to have come from Serbia this year. Did you guys boot camp in Serbia as well?
We had, yes, we are based in Serbia.
And how did your boot camp go? What was your preparation like?
It was kind of late because Watson had visa issues, and we only started at 26. So we came at 26, so we had only 5 days of boot camp.
Tell me about how you got into Dota. Where'd you grow up? What games were you playing? And then how did you come to Dota?
I grew up in Kherson, Ukraine. It's my city that I were born. I was playing, as I said, I was playing World of Warcraft like since I was a kid. My family was pretty poor. I was just playing video games, I don't know, maybe hiding from the world, I would say, in the video games. And at some point, some guy showed me Dota key, and like I saw I was like, what is this? And I saw the TI-12 that Navi got second place. I read it about them. They're like, won first CI, like $1 million. I'm like, it's crazy. And I just wanted to be a cybersport player from the start. I like the game.
And when you started playing, did you think this is the game that I'll be
Yes.
a professional? Really, straight away?
I mean, like before even I joined the game, I was like, I want to be the professional in this game.
Obviously, as a mid player, I've looked at some of the heroes that you've played a lot of. Storm Spirit, Void Spirit, Ember Spirit, Puck, Lesh, DK. Is that a fair sort of set 6 heroes that you like to play?
I think that there's more. Like,
which others would you put in that mix?
Earth Spirit, Invoker, comes to my mind.
Recently?
Yeah.
You think Invoker is back as a hero, viable?
I'm not sure. We have to see how it's gonna be played, but it felt strong. That like we played against it. I played it once, and it felt really strong. But it's different than Invoker now. It's like auto attack Invoker.
Yeah,
No
auto
spawns.
attack, the old
Yeah.
school auto attack Invoker.
Yeah, just double raise band, Witchblade, and you just go in. It's pretty fun, I would say.
Just a couple of general questions. I want to gauge your opinion about the other teams in your group. So I'll give you the team, and you tell me what you think, what you expect from them, okay? G2 XIG.
I'm not sure, because all year, like all these teams from China, besides the Extreme, they're like, they can be really good or they can be really bad. So they're like mediocre, and you cannot say how they're gonna like show themselves. We played them, they were like okay-ish, but you never know until you start the real tournament. They have big names, really big players.
What about Talon?
These guys actually were like really good to me. They were like, they love to play fast Dota, so they can be like dark horses, I would say.
And what about Tundra?
They're good.
They're good.
Yeah, just good. I'm not sure with Saks have changed for like Saks because of the visa stuff, but they were good whole year, right? Top 4 yet, and all the tournaments they were like showing good data, so they're good.
And last question.
But that's the groups that even matters. You need to win one game to get in the top 12, you know?
I know.
And it was not in the groups.
I know. All right, so if you could describe the meta for Dota now, how it looks now, because you've seen so many different patches for Dota at the highest level. How is it now playing Pro Dota? What is this patch like?
It's like zoo to me. It's like you come into zoo and there's like monkeys, like, you know, they just like flying around, like you don't know, you don't understand how half of the like. I still like sometimes I play against here and it's like, oh, nice faces, bro. It's like changing every patch, and there's so much changes that like I can keep up with for like non-meta heroes, I would say. There's so many heroes that haven't been used before, and it's like just so weird to see. It's like can be like draft Windranger, Lina, Clockwork, Phoenix, and Primal Beast, and you were never seen this on pro scene, but now it's gonna work, you know, because it's fast and it's like great to see. So to me, it's like it's just Zoo to me, honestly.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, and I really look forward to seeing how you do at TI. Thank you.
Thank you.
It is very crazy to think that it's been 5 years since we've seen no one at an international. 2019 was when he was here. Well, not in Copenhagen and Denmark, of course, but TI9 he was playing. He has been playing professionally since then, but not at the same level. And it's fantastic to see him back at the same form. We're going to talk all about that. We're going to talk all about what's happening for the rest of the day, because we are at the halfway point, and that means a change in panel. That means you'll see my face. I'm Shiva. I'll be your host for the rest of the afternoon, and I'm joined by 3 wonderful people. Lacoste, how are you doing today?
Doing good. We had some great Dota so far. Relatively even games. The second one with Team Liquid against BB Team, not as much, but very pleasantly surprised by what Talon managed to pull off against Extreme Gaming. I think if they didn't make so many mistakes, this could have been, maybe even going their way the whole series.
Yeah, we heard it from Nolan's interview too, that he actually perceives his team to be very good in potential dark horses. So it was really great to see them in action. And the BB Team series, while being good because I went to 3-game series, I was still a little bit disappointed with how they performed. I know that this team is capable of so much more, and it feels like they've fizzled out around the time where it's most important.
I do feel, Tigov, that the series we've seen today are a very clear indication for me that going from the group stage to these seeding matches, it's a big difference in terms of how the matches feel. Do you have the same?
Yeah, I mean, it's now best of 3s, so you can't just, whatever we drew, go next. Like, there is actually a bit more, intensity to the series, and on top of that, I think at least the first 2 series, we got the big names out of the way, right? It's like you got Extreme, Liquid, BB, and now we're kind of moving to the series where it's like kind of like the middling teams, like the underdogs to some degree. Like 1W, they've had decent runs, C9 as well, not really been here throughout the year, now they're here, so it's like these are the series where when you win them, it's like you're going to make your statement in the upper bracket as like we are the team that hasn't really been, recognized throughout the time, and this is our moment to shine. So I think we're very lucky that we get to cover all like the potential upset teams for the upper bracket.
Yeah, let's show it all proper what has come your way today and what is still coming your way later on today. Because as I said, halfway point, so that means we have 2 best of 3s done and dusted. Extreme Gaming and Team Liquid, there'll be 2 teams you'll see back in the upper bracket. Talon and BB Team in the lower bracket. And they are up against each other, by the way. Fun information there. And the rest of the day, we are going to end with Aurora versus Team Zero, and the match that will be featured on your screens in just a moment, Cloud9 versus 1W, will be the match we'll be focusing on right now. And I want to actually start by focusing on Cloud9, and in the same vein, focusing on Entity, because the players have played the majority of the year under that name, and we cannot disregard that. I know, Lacoste, that these 2 teams have gone up against each other, but not very frequently.
Yeah, only on online 2 events that 1W did organize, and both of the times Entity at the time, now C9, was victorious, and that was pretty clean. That was like, these were like very short games overall, and probably the reason why they decided to pick 1W when they had to choose who they want to go for. And it feels like the Cloud9 squad, they had a lot of going on right now. They were looking for a success for a really long time. There was always something missing. We've seen this team in so many tournaments, online mostly, where they are getting like really good results in the groups. They're like on top of the group, and then after the groups they bomb out. I hope they manage to fix their problems, because right now what I'm seeing, most of the time everything is working correctly.
Everything is working correctly. Maybe partially because of their coach Estini. The team does talk very highly about him and the changes that he's made to the team. Focusing our attention on 1W, I know on the side of Cloud9, everybody has experience at TI. Watson is his second TI, was there last year as well. He's the least experienced one, but 1W is the only team here at TI where nobody, and this is including the coach, has ever made it to an international team. This is their first showing, their first grand stage.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe before that was maybe like a bigger pressure to them, but I think nowadays pros, they kind of get into the system and they understand like how to be a team better now, that when you get to your first tournament, you're not as like afraid. Because I feel like the systems around teams are kind of universally accepted. Like you need to do a lot of hard work online in the grind. So as much as it is a kind of a spooky position, just like looking at all these did not qualify is another spooky position for both of these teams. I think that we are kind of, a lot more mature, I think, in the teams nowadays.
Yeah, if you're looking at this, I know 1W, they did qualify for Birmingham, but the visa didn't go the way they wanted it to. So both teams have in common that the year has looked pretty smart.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't the most impressive resume, I would say, for teams that they are here at TI, which means that they, when they needed to most, they did get it together. And they've been looking hot recently on both sides. 1W didn't perform too well during the group stages, but before then, everyone was lauding them as this up-and-coming team full of talented players that could upset anybody. And C9, formerly Entity, even though they didn't qualify to that much this year, when they did qualify, they looked good. Like at the Riyadh Masters, during their group stage, they were incredibly dominant. And they were the only team at that tournament to go from group stage to upper bracket. So regardless of maybe the resume not looking too good, the players are.
Yeah, they seem to be peaking at the right time as well, because even though 1W did not qualify to Riyadh, they did play at a tier 2 considered tournament, but they played in the grand finals there up against Team Liquid, and they were able to push them to all the way to game 5, where they did end up falling, but they did manage to do that. So they have I think what it takes to have the championship mindset.
Yeah, for
championship mindset.
There we go.
Great.
There. And like for example, technically on camera, 2 seats down, Sweden strong. I worked with him quite briefly, like a couple years back, but his mentality back then, when he was kind of in the tier 2 online grind, was very much like he knows what he wants to do. He wants to always try and find solutions to problems. He's not the type of player that kind of like holds in his emotions and stuff. So I think like that type of mentality is what you want in a player. So yeah.
This is so jarring.
What is?
Someone's using the voice line. Psst, I see dead people. Like whispering in my ear. We're fine. We're good. We're in the draft. Cloud9 will be on the Radiant side. 1W will be Dire, opening with Doom. I want to talk a little bit about heroes, because there's a hero that I saw a lot in the side of 1W, and it's Leshrac. They played in every position. Support, core?
That's what I thought that this hero, because I've been doing the research, and Leshrac, position 4, came out so many times. It was 9 class, who unfortunately is not here. He had like 90% win rate over 15 or 16 game on this hero with the new facet. I don't know how to pronounce this.
Misanthropy.
There we go. That one is so good. Edict doesn't deal damage to the towers, but it deals extra damage to other units, of course. And if you manage to isolate the hero on the side, you can easily get the first blood with that hero. So a little surprised that this hero is not picked as much as I would want to, but we're still theory crafting what's really good. One thing I like about 1W is they play very aggressive Dota. They're playing for the strong lanes, and they like the beefy boys, these Dooms, these Primal Beasts mostly.
They get into the fight, yeah.
Yeah, anything that can have like really good front line, which does allow Munkushi to deal damage, and we've seen how important it is for your carry to have something in front and also find ways to amplify his damage.
Yeah, one thing about 1W, so I did review their group stage games a little bit, and like Lacoste said, they are drafting for lanes, but they actually didn't end up winning their lanes. In their series versus GG, they were very underwhelming. in the laning stage with heroes that maybe should have won. And in their series versus Heroic, Heroic just bodied them in the early game, game 1. So this drafting for lanes strategy, I think that they should more so look towards drafting for that mid game and an ability to blink in, get kills, make some decisive moves, because that's what they've been lacking so far, and it hasn't worked for them.
Well, we got the flavor of the day, Enigma having a lot of screen time today. One thing that I'll still mention about 1W that I've noticed is that of all the teams here in Copenhagen, they are overall the least versatile in their amount of heroes played so far. But they do open in a very different way than they've had, because they get their hands on Doom, and they have not been playing Doom at all. So for a team that likes to go back to what they like to play, this is the odd one out, even though obviously T, it is a very meta hero.
Yeah, it's a lot of respect towards C9. I think often when you look at this team, it's easy to talk about Watson, high-ranked player, no one with his history, but Katomi often is, sometimes unsung hero, other times easily MVP, and his hero pool so far in this tournament has been Tinker, Doom, and Phoenix. And he always is the player, in my opinion, where if they're doing well, it's because Katomi has found his 3 or 4 heroes that he wants to break the game with. In previous years, it was like, I'll only play Treant Protector, maybe I only play Tiny, but he finds that hero and he perfects them. And right now, we've clearly seen that he's got his 3 heroes, he's very comfortable with them, and that's why 1W, they ban out the Tinker in the first phase, they block pick the Doom, maybe they go for a Phoenix, but I think out of the 3, you have to pick your poison, and they've not really cared too much about the Phoenix, but...
Yeah. And let's not forget about his 4 Alchemist that he was playing a lot just a month ago. So that's something that you have to keep in mind, because I do like that point that you make about Katomi, where in the past, his smaller hero pool wasn't cheesy, right? It was like your Undyings and your...
Yeah.
Exactly, but now his small hero pool is cheesy, and it forces bans on heroes that maybe you don't want to overconsider, like the Tinker. Tinker is banned out here, but other teams are not prioritizing Tinker in that first phase.
Very true. This is our first Gyrocopter here, Lacoste.
Yeah, not really surprised seeing that other heroes are better version of Gyro, having a Windranger with Whirlwind Facet. It feels so much better, but you want to have something early on against the Enigma in the lane. This has always, single time, whenever Enigma offlane is the thing, Gyrocopter makes his way back into the meta. A kind of hard lane for him to lane into, and you have the sustain. So we've seen Dooms going for all these auras pretty much. People are not picking up the Blink Dagger anymore, which means that with the healing from Io, we are setting the tempo of the game on side of 1W. And we've seen Team Liquid, they kind of play the similar heroes with the Io, with the Dooms. No Gyro, but they've, throw in some Windranger, some Mirana, these range carry heroes that can come online super fast. And so far, so good for 1W, I would say.
The most likely Watson Mirana coming out, unless you want to add the fourth hero to Katomi's list there, T.
Yeah, sure. He can easily play it. I think the main thing when I look at C9's approach to this is you need to respect that 1W is going to scale to Midas Crimson Guard on Doom very early. Gyrocopter, naturally quite a slow carry because you don't really play for kills. You play a lot for push out lane, farm backwards. But by 20-ish minutes, 1W will be online, full tank, damage ready, ripping through them. And that's where maybe a Mirana carry, Mana Boots and a Gleipnir, that's going to be your major timing to kind of fight into that. So I think I'd like to see some heroes maybe either keep spinning the map and you dodge that timing, or you pick up some strong team fights. So when 1W wants to try and enter the game, you can make that statement. And at the moment, they don't really have that. They're kind of lacking lanes. Yes, maybe they're strong. If Enigma goes to a support, they pick up core. But I'm a little bit worried for C9. They look relatively fragile with these first 3 picks.
I think that, while that is true, I think that Mirana's ability with a melee support to just beat up Doom on lane shouldn't be underestimated, right? Because you were talking about how important the Doom timing is, but if he loses lane, that Doom timing is going to be slowed down. And we saw Team Spirit just completely destroy with Mirana safe lane versus any kind of melee offlaner.
Oh, this is another classic for Katomi, pretty much back in the days. I see potential Puck. They need something. They need Chase. I want to see Puck, some backline jumper, great against Mirana before she gets a BKB. They don't have enough. Sure, you have Winter's Curse into Arrow combo, and that's why they picked it. And also, of course, you have something good that's always going to be great against Io, because they are going to be standing close to each other. So I just want to see a hero that can, because right now, 1W team, they have a lot of damage, they have a lot of heal, a lot of tankiness, somebody needs to keep them together so that they can actually deal damage. Because right now you have Io, Gyro, you can't rely on Rocket or Doom rushing in and using War Stomp.
Give me like the Snapfire for 1W. Like Spirit's been showcasing how strong it is, and like for the laning advantages that we're you know, Effie's mentioning with like Clock, Morana, like that's the only lane on paper that should be really pulling ahead, because we already mentioned how Io should farm. And it's like if you can just find that 4 position to kind of shift the balance away from C9, then I can see it. But again, I can see a world where like C9 just showcase how to play against the Io Gyro, and they just rip through the map. There's a lot of static heroes on 1W, right? It's like Gyro needs to farm, Doom needs to farm. That's why picking Puck here is quite nice, because you are the playmaker to bring your draft to life. But I still feel like there's a position 4 available for Sweden Strong that is going to just really give so much more purpose to 1W's lineup.
Something that can secure the lane for Doom would be entirely helpful. But this Puck pick is great because when you're playing versus Wyvern with an IO combo, you're constantly afraid of that curse. Like, it's not the easiest fights to take when you don't have vision of the Wyvern.